time around he did qualifies for the top 8 NACT, and it's a very exciting scene, Trex, to see this guy come back and bring a full roster to play for today's show.
Yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, I think BTK took a huge loss yesterday. LEGACi took a huge loss yesterday, but I think the upset was definitely BTK. So today is like proving ground. Today is the, we're sitting on the scale right now, and everyone's wondering, can BTK like compete this season? Because if they lose today's match, it is looking grim for them. There was very high expectations of them coming into this season. So yeah, there's a lot to prove right now for BTK.
Zeke?
Absolutely well said. And although, even in this matchup, LEGACi still coming in as the underdog, again, they did have a rough day coming into yesterday, but up to this point, they have been proving themselves to be a very viable team and a team that can adapt at that. So if they can do what they need to do, I mean, I don't count them out of this, not even a little bit.
Yeah, but both teams are trying to make their way out of the bottom bracket or the bottom side of things right now. Both teams did receive that 0-2 in day one, and this time around they're trying to fight for some points here. I do think BTK has a significant advantage, right? A lot of the players on their team have had a lot of experience, especially in these high tense situations. But on the other hand, LEGACi also Fiends is a team that we don't really know how to gauge them against a lot of these good teams, right? We've only seen them play a few games here. Unfortunately, they did lose to majority of the top seeds, but it can be anyone's game here.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely after last week, after watching Fiends just play so great, I think we're in a state of NACT where it can definitely be anyone's
No.
for a lot of these teams, and just the current meta. Certain picks seem viable, sometimes aren't. A lot of counter possibilities from multiple heroes. I think it can always tip any way for any team.
Absolutely, this is the season to do it. I do believe we've got LEGACi's rosters coming up. Let's dive into that.
Yeah, we have Jolie. Oh, sorry, you take it.
LEGACi coming through with the roster. We got Jolie on the gold lane. Kuya Ken also is available here. Kuya, Nash, Riles, and also PDR. These are a lot of experienced veterans that we've seen quite a bit in the different NACT. I think Jolie played for NightHorde. Riles, has also been in the scene for a long time, and also PDR has been in quite the teams throughout NACT's history. So seeing some of these veterans come back into play and on the team together is always quite exciting, Trex.
Yeah, and it seems like Riles isn't super locked into, his past in a sense of just like only picking up assassin heroes. We saw him in qualifiers kind of try to counterplay BTK by picking up the Barats and things like that. So we know that they are adapted to the current meta. And I'm excited to see how the whole team pulls together in general.
Absolutely. Now, Trex, would you mind taking us into the BTK roster?
Let's go.
One of the most rosters I was excited about for a few big reasons. Cole World and Nicolette for me are two players that I've been wanting to see on a very hype roster for a while. Cole World goes all the way back to The Simpsons. We used to see him play gold lane. We've seen him from there play mid. We've seen him play roam. He has been everywhere. Now he's sitting on BTK on the roam position, and Nicolette holding the front of this roster right now. I mean, I've been a Nicolette fan all the way back to early NACT days, Team Sexy days, Ackerman days, back when Nicolette and Best Player were kind of the duo of the mid for a very long time. Nicolette took a break last season, did not play on any teams, took some time, I think, school, things like that, and now
Best Player
she
Nicolette
is back, and there is very high hype for her. How is she going to compete though in this NACT?
Best Player
The
Nicolette.
hype always comes with expectations, and if they're able to prove themselves in this series, I do think the expectations are going to be met. And against a team like LEGACi, I do think BTK has it in the bag. I do want to see them go above and beyond in this series and make sure that they get a clean sweep here, because they are both ranked the same.
Hello guys.
Both ranked in 5th place, taking 2 losses each. So this time around, I think BTK, they do need to step it up and get that sweep. But LEGACi at the same time, this is the time that they have to prove themselves. We saw Fiend coming out with some great games already. So this time around, I do want to see the dark horses, the ones from the bottom, especially
So
the
guys,
qualifiers, to step it up and, you know,
NACT, let's go.
I'll be honest, 4-1 for the casters vote. It might be a little too high right now.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Zeke?
So, I mean, it's really tough to say. You know, we've got Cold World on BTK right now, and we've seen him make some beautiful sets, but I want to hear even more. Let's get into the predictions. What do you guys think is going to come happen?
I mean, definitely a lot of possibilities, but I think it is pretty even-faced even after the loss yesterday. Everyone still thinks BTK is the favorite here, and I think it's well-deserved. Yes, they had a rough day one, but we know a lot of these players very well. We know the potential that this team has. I think the major lacking is synergy, and this is the same story we've had for BTK for the past 2 seasons. Now it's another huge roster change. Can they get it together before the end of the season?
You're 100% right, Trex. BTK is going to be my votes, but I do think you made some good points there. The roster adjustment that they have every single year.
Hello, guys.
Under the leadership of Mr. Moba Zane, I do think BTK is going to thrive in this matchup.
So for me, whenever I'm looking at these teams, I'm looking at BTK, I'm looking at LEGACi, and for me, my vote is also going to go towards BTK, but not because I think that they're that much better of a team. My whole concept behind it is that they have this stage level experience before, and LEGACi, being kind of new to that, are they going to buckle under the pressure? For me, it's just a question that just keeps resonating in my head, so I have to see these teams perform.
I agree. I think performance is key, and I think like how they're gonna do under the pressure. I think there's a few key things, like a few key matchups we have to look at. One of them being mid once again, Cold World Nicolette up against the Kuya combo, right? Kuya Nash and Kuya Ken, the big brother for those that don't know. Kuya
Is BD going to bounce
also
back?
the junglers, right? Moba Zane did not have the greatest games yesterday. Gave first blood. I forget if it was in match 1. I think it was the match that he picked up. I think it was match 1 when he picked up the alpha. Gave over first blood to Area 77. Just seemed to kind of be playing his own game a little bit. So I think that's. And then we have Riles, who again, I'm wondering how is this matchup going to be. I think both teams are going to be very turtle objective, going to be very neutral objective based. So that's where we're going to see some of these big clashes, and who's going to be able to complete them better.
Absolutely. So I do think that we've seen Moba just a little bit shakier on some of his alpha plays in the past too. So maybe we should try and look at keeping him in that pick. But instead of having us guess all day, let's get into the draft and see what actually happens.
Ooh, jumping into draft already. It's LEGACi on the blue side up against BTK with second pick. And the bans are already coming in, and the targets are already marked. We got a Fredrin ban up against BTK. I mean, there it is.
Kratos is on the LEGACi, guys.
This is not something that we have not seen before, Trex. Everyone in North America loves to target ban Zane, and knowing his hero pool, he definitely shines in this meta once again. The utility style is just back in season. We were able to see a few assassins being slotted in our last NACT, but this time around, it seems like the advantage is towards a lot of the utility focus, but now LEGACi actually opting to open up a lot of heroes that Zane is very, very strong. The Akai that he's played, and also the Boxia. And now without a ban on the Barats, I do think that is going to be a priority. So maybe LEGACi is going to decide to pick that up themselves.
Hello, guys.
Or switching it over to let BTK take it, and coming out with some frontline shredders and also some utilities to stop the mobility of that dinosaur.
I mean, there's definitely a lot open. Like you said, the Barats, we've got the Nolan open, we have
Ruby.
Vexana still open, Ruby, CC. This is a very open draft. With the Fermis ban and the Fredrin ban, not always your typical round 1 bans. It leaves a lot open for both teams. BTK thinking about this. They're taking their time, like, oh, like, do we go for trades here? If we're going to go for trades, they go for the CC ban. So yes, does Riles pick up the Nolan here? Like, does he kind of go back to the roots and pick up an assassin pick?
I just feel like the assassin has been quite lackluster, especially in today's matches. The utilities have been dominant. And even in the last series, the utility is still there. The brass is pretty much unkillable, but the first pick of LEGACi does go to that X-Borg to deal with a lot of the front lines, and Mobazane is not even scared of this counter matchup.
Yeah, I love how LEGACi is like, we're going to pick up the X-Borg to counter the Mobazane's Barats that we know he's going to pick. And Mobazane knows, he's like, fine, you got that. We're going to lock in the Barats. I think Vexana could be a solid pick for pick 2 here. Something with CC, kind of very similar to what we saw. They didn't ban Barats. Barats, Vex, Ruby. They could go for the Ruby. Either way, both of them a good combo with the Barats.
Or go for something like the Claude, which has been quite great in a lot of the picks. But yes, Trex, you do get the Vexana on Nicolette, and you know Nicolette has been a traditional mage that is able to just switch between so many different heroes like the Louis and the Lilia, but this time around it seems like she is immersed into the Vexana, the Nana meta. So pretty excited to see this Vexana coming out to play. We saw Yato have an extremely perfect performance on this Vexana, so I honestly feel like it's a great draft for BTK so far, and I want to see what LEGACi decides to respond to the Vexana and the Barats.
And they have to go for something kind of big, I feel like, here. I think the Ruby might be a steal that they have to. Arlot could be good too. They need to. I think they need to deny BTK, because if BTK gets the Ruby next, it could be a problem. Also, we know Basic, like you mentioned, the Claude earlier, does have a great Claude. So if they pick up a gold lane here, it kind of forces BTK to like, okay, do we go for the Ruby or do they take the Claude too? Basic picks up Harith, and BTK feels like they know exactly what's coming.
They didn't pick
no, I think BTK came into the draft quite prepared. The Harith was pretty much insta-locked right after the Claude and the Nana pick. Now, I do like the strategy coming out from LEGACi, right? They're quite balanced in their draft so far. They have a little bit of magic. They have the marksmans available, so they could choose to focus out, single out. Oh wait, no, Basic already on the Harith. So both gold laners has been picked, both mages have been picked. So they're really just missing the XP laners and also the roam. And I do think both teams are going to be focusing some bans onto those heroes.
Yeah, something I want to pull out. I feel like the Nana is also another good pick against the Barats. Something that can kind of stop him in his tracks when he's walking forward. You throw out the Molina. It's a good answer to it as long as you can kind of dodge everything else that's coming at you. So they have two ways to kind of deal with some of these initial objectives. They have the Last Insanity, they have the kiting from the X-Borg, and now they have the Molina and the Molina Blitz to kind of really help LEGACi in dealing with any kind of aggression that BTK wants to bring into the Turtle Lord pit.
Now, I do want to see what LEGACi's response to this Harith. We saw Toru last game going legendary on this Harith, pretty much unstoppable with a Purify. So this time around, I think LEGACi has to draft up a strategy to deal with the mobility coming out with the Harith. Maybe going for a suppression like the Kaja that T has been shined on. They could also go for a Franco with another suppression, or maybe going for a stun, which BTK has protected by banning out the Ruby. So this time around, LEGACi is going to have a little bit less options, but I do think the draft is still quite open for both teams.
Yeah, definitely a lot of possibilities. LEGACi, not scared to like pick up some things that other teams aren't picking. Ooh, Milo on the Benedetta. So there goes a nice way to get in the back line, a nice way to find the Claude, hope for Petrifies, and a nice way to possibly lock down this Nana when needed to, even after the passive procs.
So this is, I just kind of want to slide in this information. Milo, when Benedetta was first came out, right? Milo actually has been the guy that was grinding this hero, especially in the West Coast, and he was definitely top supreme for a very, very long time. So Benedetta on Milo is a very dangerous pick, and just like you're saying, can easily get onto the backside. And picking this matchup means that Milo is quite confident that, hey, I'm seeing this X-Borg, I can go even or potentially win onto this lane. I think BTK has it, especially in the XP, for this Benedetta to kind of thrive in this matchup.
I think LEGACi, something like Minnow here could be viable. I think something bulky, Minnow Grok. So wait. Grok jungle? Or is this going to be a
Grok XP?
Claw jungle? Or yeah, or Grok EXP, Claw jungle, or Xborg jungle? Oh,
Maybe
man.
maybe the Grok
I was gonna
is
say
going to
I
be...
wanted to. What's crazy is I kind of wanted to see a Grok, but
They
not
can
like
do
this.
a
Not like
Grok
this.
jungle there or XP.
I do think there's potential that Riles takes this Grok into the jungle. I do think that Xborg in the jungle to deal with the Brats is also quite good, but sacrificing the Flicker means you're not going to be able to really catch Basic off guard. And with the comp that LEGACi has, it's not really focused on stopping Basic. It feels like they want to have a good team fight, but what I'm worried about is who is going to be able to lock Basic down and not let the Zen Force be able to just jump around the whole entire game. Because quite honestly, Toru had such a good game on Harith that I feel like if teams are not focusing on that hero, it's going to smell a lot of trouble.
Jungle Xborg. Jungle Borg. I was expecting Cold World to maybe pick up the Diggy there as a final pick, just to be like, you got all that CC, good luck. Jungle Borg, man, we haven't seen that in a long time. And for a long time, like, the theory crafting behind it was always there. And I think it's for the same reason why it's kind of viable now, at least in the XP lane. It can, you know, it does what it does. It does true damage, it kites, it can help deal with the Brats. But how is it going to face up in the jungle? I'm kind of wondering about it, but we will see, because we are jumping into game number 1. BTK versus LEGACi, both suffering a loss from yesterday, looking to reclaim some glory.
Let's go.
Will the Kings of Kings prevail, or will the upset happen where the LEGACi continues and pushes BTK out of the top bracket? Now, it's quite interesting here now. Both junglers are starting onto the bottom side, so they're going to be looking to clash near... Oh, wait, no. Mobazena is going to be on the top side, jungling opposite towards each other. You do see that LEGACi over here has a little bit of a faster rotation. I do think the Nana just clears a little bit faster.
Yeah, BloodThirstyKings with Cold World on the Rafaela. I'm wondering how they're going to scale. I feel like in the early game, there could be some issues. They do have movement. They do have that advantage. They're going to have some quick rotations, but they are a little bit squishy. The only problem is LEGACi also doesn't have any, like, huge damage dealers. If they picked up something like an assassin in the jungle, maybe they could have taken advantage of that, but instead they go for the Xborg. So they're also kind of playing the long haul here.
And this is something that I feel like I'm not really liking so far from LEGACi. They decided to pick this Grok up in the very last phase, and Grok isn't really that great of an XP laner so far. Maybe I'm going to eat my words, but he seems to have a disadvantage onto the top side already, going back against Milo during the first wave. And I feel like that kind of smells trouble, because Milo is very proficient on this Benedetta, and I don't know if the Grok is going to be able to do too much in this matchup.
I feel like LEGACi's win condition here isn't exactly team fights, right? It's not exactly like winning out in team fights. It's winning out in the big objectives. It's winning out in board fights. It's using all this stack CC to try to delay Mobazane and win out in those fights. Now a little bit of damage on a Cold World. Cold World taking a lot there. Will go down. First blood over Riles.
Yeah, I bit my word there. PDR showing us the Grok on the XP does well.
Actually, a counter for
and pretty much force Cold World into the deathbed. Milo comes through, but it seems like the objective is still up for grabs.
Oh, a lot of damage on Coin.
Oh my god,
the big knockup. Milo goes down. There's a lot of damage from PDR there. They're going to be able to zone BTK away. LEGACi takes first turtle.
Yeah, that's quite a huge turtle for LEGACi. LEGACi already up in gold here, 2-0 along with a turtle. So definitely a lot of advantage so far. Now, the focus is going to be on the bot side here. Jolie still has to find a way to scale well, and we've seen this matchup quite a bit. The Harith has traditionally just dominated in that gold position, and I don't think this is going to be much different here. Basic on this Harith, already a small advantage in the lane, even with 2 kills down and a neutral objective. It seems like BTK is still right behind LEGACi's toes.
Yeah, definitely not too far behind, and that just goes to show BTK's, like, their movement, their laning phase is still strong when it comes to gold, but LEGACi,
Can basic,
we're already seeing the
can basic
possibilities
make
from them.
that
And if
Harris
this keeps
bannable.
happening, the gold lead will definitely
He said that on
eventually
his-
leave
he
BTK.
said
It'll get
that on
out
his
of
history.
grass, and LEGACi is controlling the map. They're moving around as a unit. They're
He said
mid-trio,
that,
staying
he
together.
will-
They're kind of
he will-
taking
he
their
will make
paths
the
together. Riles
Harris
is never
bannable.
being left too far behind away from
Oh,
Kuya Ken
Kratos.
and Kuya Nash.
That's Kratos goes
Yeah,
of
but
India.
I still don't like this matchup on the top side.
Oh, PDR
Yeesh.
does go down. Milo able to pick up the kill. Down on the bot side, a little bit of action as well as Kuya Ken comes in to help out.
Boom.
Joe Lee gonna try to capitalize on the knockoff for two members with Blazing Duet. Gets hit by the Holy Baptism
this-
though.
this
Slowed down
LEGACi
from
team
his
is
Mon's
good.
force. Riles maybe checking that bush. Careful of a gank.
The Natalia is coming through, but the 4-man siege from LEGACi is going to be able to get some gold onto the bot side tower, pushing BTK away quite a bit. But Mobazane here.
Zane
Popping
under
up.
the tower. Caught him by
Oh.
well, should be okay. He's a bulky boy.
He should ult.
Yeah,
Good
but
ult.
2-1 is going to be the
Good ult.
overall
Good ult.
scoreboard. Still anyone's game so far, but it seems like BTK, they're quite calm and collective here. But PDR,
That's a lot of damage on a Mobazane. He used it to tone his welcome to dash away, which I haven't even thought about. It's a great mechanic for. That's something that Barat's kind of lasted before, is he had no real escape. Now that he has that dash, he can almost use it like the Grok's Wild Charge, you know, to escape.
yeah, and he has a little bit of immune that is built onto that Daytona's welcoming. It's quite a good change, I think, and you know it definitely adds the spice into the Barat, giving him a little bit of mobility here.
Ooh, Guardian comes down on Akuya Ken. Electro final blow locks on to Nash. Nash taking a little bit of damage. Mobazane able to stay on top of this turtle for free right
Oh,
now.
shit.
Akuya Ken uses the Minoan's Fury, but unable to lock it
Minotaur
on
is so
anybody.
tanky.
Milo having fun down on the boss side, picks up Nash, but Nash finds Milo to 1-for-1. Mobazane able to take the turtle.
Nah.
BTK comes out on top in that trade.
Yeah,
Now
that was
Jolie basic with a 1v1.
That was a pretty tough trade onto the objective there. 2 of the members were fallen for the side of LEGACi, traded for 1. The neutral objective does go to the hands of BTK. Just like what you're saying, the other side of the map, Harith is able to pick up that 1 versus 1. And right now, so far, BTK, I feel like they're just winning across the map. Top side, the Benedetta does quite well in the bot side. Basic is also winning. And now, even in the jungle, LEGACi is struggling.
And they do take that orange buff. Mobazane uses a retry, steals it right out of Ryle's fingertips. And now they're cutting lanes. They've taken the bottom tower. This means Basic can move around the map more.
Yeah, and with Basic moving around the map more, it just smells even more trouble, right? The Harith has already won onto the bot side, looking to, you know, switch the lanes quite a bit here. BTK, potential 4-man dive onto the top side. I don't know if Grok has it in him to be able to defend this, but definitely this minion should be able to go down.
Ooh,
Doesn't have a wild charge either right now. Able to use the flicker, kind of sidestep away. They don't lose the tower just yet.
2K gold lead for the side of BTK here. 6 minutes in, the kill score
That game will
is
be very
quite
difficult
even.
for
So
me,
LEGACi
yes.
still in this game so far.
Yes.
They're still trying to defend a lot of these lanes, but the rotation is
LEGACi
coming out
has
from BTK. I think
a,
it's quite hard for LEGACi
Fast
to defend.
clear and
Riles does get the passive
They
and is
can
able to
use,
escape.
like,
That is a lot of
Blood
damage.
and,
LG
Nana.
coming up to the top side now.
And fast
Looking for a
clear
possible
for
pick.
Lega
Whole
Expert.
world. Maybe caught up in a bad spot. PDR decides not to use the
Basic.
wild charge
Basic.
just yet, but look at Basic. Under the
Basic.
tower.
He's
Gonna get some
gonna
nice
do
damage
it.
on Akuya. Drops him on
He's
force.
doing
Dash
it.
for one more hit. Under the tower and gets it. Nicolette actually steals it. Picks up the kill. Puts Nicolette at 1-0-1. Bloodthirsty Kings with the advantage.
And, you know, even with that advantage, I want to talk about Rhino on this Benedetta. Right, he's able to kind of deal with the split push coming out from any of the members of LEGACi, and he kind of just deal with it by himself. And I feel like the Grok and the XP is not going to be able to clear a lot of the waves, especially when we get onto the late game. And I think that's where BTK shines, right? They could do the banana split before.
A lot of damage. Nicolette goes down. PDR with the wild charge, and that's the threat. The
They got
damage
Nicolette,
from the
guys.
damage Grok is damaging.
Yeah, he's able to get the knock up there, and picking
Oh,
off
Mielo.
Nicolette is a great pick off. But once again, who is going to be the man for
Filipino.
LEGACi to deal with the
Mielo
split
and
push of the
Kuya Nash.
Benedetta? Because I think he's just going to be on the far side of the lane the whole entire game. He
Serious,
has
guys.
the sustain
Yeah,
available
can.
and the mobility. It's going to be a hard matchup to deal with if you are the members of LEGACi.
Wow, NACT is
Most definitely. I love the players. Look at
giving
Mobazane down
proofs
there.
on their production.
Everyone else is just kind of like
They have
chilling.
their
He's like forehead in the camera, fingers moving a mile a minute. I mean, you can tell the seriousness. You can tell the pressure, I think, that's just on BTK in general for this game.
I hope
They
they
know
will start
the loss yesterday was
interviewing
huge. They know they have to do something.
winner.
But LG as well, keeping their cool right now. The game is not yet gone for them, I feel. The major problem is basic. If he keeps scaling like this, it is going to be hard to find him. We saw it last time with Toru. The Harith with the Purify is a very hard catch.
It's most definitely hard to catch, but looking at the split push, you can see the Grok on the all far side of the lane, but the 4-man BTK siege on the top side.
Yeah, Koya Ken gets hit by the Holy Baptism. Gonna get chased down though. BTK aren't coming for members though. They're coming for towers and they're able to secure it.
And they're able to get pretty much the objectives that they were looking for. This is pretty much all of BTK's plan. They don't, they're not necessarily looking for team fights all the time, right? It's very objective focused. You can see the Ube strategy coming out from BTK already trying to pressure a lot of the sides of LEGACi.
Yeah, first day.
Yeah, did they take
this is my first day for NACT.
Unable to get any orange buffs here.
Grok?
First day.
On his trail. Basic in the backside takes a lot of damage. Duet comes in.
Jolly
doing
unloading.
Riles finds
Yellow,
basics, and LG finally
backdoor.
comes out on top in a team fight.
Yeah, and you can see PDR's damage is actually quite a lot, but the minnow does get picked off here, and BTK looking to siege onto this mid side. They should be able to get a lot of damage done.
Riles just escapes, but the tower may fall soon.
Kratos.
Milo as well. With the split push, you mentioned it earlier, Milo's not been involved in almost any of these team fights, but he's doing so much on the map.
It's so smart coming out from BTK to build a split pusher onto the XP lane, right? Force members of LEGACi to split up
finish
because,
this,
once again, I think the Grok and the Minnow are extremely
they
good in team fights, but when it comes down to the split push of the LEGACi, they're definitely much lacking. They could send the X-Borg onto the far lane to defend, but it's just not the viable situation. They need the X-Borg onto the objectives to get the 50-50 Retrian. Look at the pressure of BTK. Members at top, members at bot, just splitting the whole entire strategy of LEGACi apart, getting this neutral objective without any problems.
Yeah, oh, Holy Baptism locks on, terrified, boom, knocked out. Koya Ken hit by the Hayakin. Koya Nash might just be next. Riles gonna take a lot of damage. BloodThirstyKings on the prowl. PDR comes in, gets a knock up on 3 members, but no one there to follow up. And down he goes. LEGACi getting picked off one by one.
It's a strong showing coming out from BTK. This is kind of what we expected for this team. And to have a dominating performance, I do think this is going to match well with the confidence that BTK is, desperately looking for. They didn't get the win that they were looking for against A77, but this time around against LEGACi, it seems like they have the game plan, they have the strategies involved, and they're playing quite clean. Now, Lord marching down onto the top side, and BTK has sieged in a 5-man unit, especially with the Wrath. It really shows kind of like a Ube strategy back in the M3.
Oh, big flicker wild charge.
Oh shit.
Basic
taking out
Jolie with a blazing duet onto 2 members. Riles though gets brought in. Milo in trouble as well. Able to use the electro final blow. Just to get away. LEGACi find a kill. To knock up the Eternal Guardian. Shreds him down, and Jolie and Koya Nash are taken out. Cold World putting one of those kills into his pocket, and the Lord is still coming. BTK terrify on Koya Ken. BTK gets so much out of that Lord push.
The unexpected damage of BTK is just so much for LEGACi to deal with. They've lost all their towers, and BTK is not stopping here.
Riles gets the passive proc with the immortality, uses the last insanity to re-engage. Milo's not going to let him go. The goat finds him. Koya Ken and Koya Nash, the 2 big brothers of the team, are trying to defend this all alone. Jolie back on the field with a blazing duet. Trying to get a little damage as well. But they still hold it. No Minoan's Fury. He's deleted before it procs. BTK relentless in their charge. They're going to move on to the base now, and that should be game number 1.
A great performance from the Kings of Kings BTK, able to take the very first game. between LEGACi and them, putting them up on the board with the score 15, 7, and 29 is the overall KDA of this
We
team.
will stream
And I
the
just wanna say
BTK
Milo
match.
played that greatly. He did die in the
after this
end, but he was
match,
able to just
and then
bait out so many
the
ultimates
Gaimin
and
Gladiators
get the mage
So,
kills
3
that we were
matches
talking
for
about.
today.
Able to get onto the backside, getting onto Nana multiple times in this series, and also the split push that LEGACi had to deal with. It's not very good when you have the Grok on the other side of the map trying to clear the waves when the whole entire BTK is on the top side, pretty much just destroying the towers.
I mean, it became an issue. The way the BTK was just consistently, you said it a few times during objectives, they were very spread out around the map, and LEGACi had to make a decision. Do they go and defend the off lanes, right? Do they try to deal with Milo, or do they group up? And they chose the first option when I feel like their composition was very based around all of them working together and trying to disrupt Moba's aim from being able to get those retributions off, right? Trying to fight for these objectives, and BTK knew it, so it's like, fine, we'll take the split up match, and if you want to group up in 5-man against us, we're going to take away your off lanes, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, and when you talk about the off lanes, right?
Yes, sir.
Solo
LEGACi got owned, but
extremely
I think LEGACi has a chance there.
Right?
If
Because the Cloud should be able to kind of deal with any
they,
matchup that he's looking
if
for.
they
That's why a
defended
lot of
that,
people can blind pick the Cloud into
they will
anything.
surely
But the Herald is just proven to be such a strong hero on the
make a
gold lane.
comeback there.
It's quite tough to
X-Borg,
deal with him. When you look on the
Nana,
other
and
side of the
Blood
map, right?
is a late game
TBR
hero.
just unable to handle Milo with the Grok up there. Pushed him back at level 2 and then continuously just pressuring onto the top side, and even
That's
the
why
front lanes
that's
when
why
the
they
objectives are being
they finish
shown.
it
So BTK
fast.
definitely have a very good strategy. The draft, I would say, is pretty much perfect there. Now I'm excited to see how LEGACi decides
If
to bounce
Basic
back,
can
right? Get PDR a
make this
hero
Harry
that
bannable,
potentially deals
that
a
will
little
be
bit
added
more
for the
damage
seal.
onto the minions. They could deal with the split push coming out from Milo, and also potentially grabbing up the Herald themselves, because it seems like the Herald is almost guaranteed on the gold lane so far.
Please like the stream, guys. Thank
I mean,
you.
I feel like
Zaddy. Hello,
I
Zaddy.
feel like the big issue with, because all right, so LEGACi had a strong laning phase, right? They got the first blood. I think they got the first 2 kills. Imagine if they just would have kind of switched up the draft a little bit, like not go for the X-Borg, maybe go for something a bit more aggressive. Before we go too far, let's take a quick look
the
at
last
these
pick
replays
drop.
away.
Yeah, the Grok Flicker Ultimate Wildfire is able to pick off Basic pretty much just like that. And honestly, when you look at this team fight, the damage that LEGACi was doing was quite immense. Like, we did not know that was going to be doing so much damage, but this ultimate coming out from that Vexana was huge, grabbing up 2-3 members along with the knockback of Moba's
so that they can dive into
for
Vexana.
BTK to be victorious in that team fight,
they
taking
need
all
to-
the outer
they need
towers
to
and
get
taking
the
the
Vexana.
game with that fight.
Yeah, they were able to, I mean, BTK was able to take the punches.
Sana,
even
no?
when LEGACi got those big knockups, got those big sets, BTK was already far too ahead. Now, back to kind of what I was saying is, you know, I think that if Riles had something, if they just had a little more damage, I mean, either way, BTK's invading them, right? Like, you picked the X-Borg, either way, you were losing orange buffs, you were losing lots of things. I think that was a game, if you're going to pick that bulky of a front line, you know, maybe go for a bit more of a damaging jungle. Go for something that can really pack a punch. Otherwise, just play the utility, right? And slot something else into your EXP lane. I think there were still some moments of brilliance from LEGACi there. Like I said, in the laning phase. And it seems that's where BTK is making most of their mistakes in the first 2 or 3 minutes. So I think if there's a win con for the side of
BTK lose
LEGACi,
here.
we'll capitalize on that. Maybe build something that scales a little bit, something that you can snowball on, and look for
can
those
win
moments
2-1
of
here.
weakness from BTK.
And if we're talking about the strategies coming out from LEGACi, this might be kind of a out of a box equation, but I feel like maybe they should experiment a little bit with the assassin pick, right? What LEGACi is known for, what Riles is known for, maybe picking up the Hayabusa, slotting it in the 5, right? Just slide it in the back, set it up. Get the front lines available, get the early game advantage, put something like a Lilia Tigreal where they stand well into the lane, grab the Brody for a guarantee win on the gold where the LEGACi does not have to put a lot of members on that side, and picking up the Hayabusa and getting the mobility and the split push that the Rouse has always been known for.
I mean, the high boost is like number 4 or 5, I feel like, on the assassin options right now. You know, they could go for the Nolan. That was completely open last time. They could go for, which even though it hasn't been performing very well here, it is still a very viable pick if used with the right team, with the right synergy. There was the Joy open last time. Fanny, they could go for something. They could still go for something aggressive. I think the Fanny isn't as viable right now with the state of the current like utility jungler meta, but yeah, there's definitely some possibilities for LEGACi here.
The bans are on the board. BTK bans out Faramis and the Export. The response from LEGACi, though, the Navaria gets taken off the board along with the Fredra. Now, LEGACi is quite interesting. They are opting to go for a 1 ban on Mobazane and focusing and spreading the bans out throughout. And unfortunately, I feel like the strategy on the first game, even with the draft, it wasn't perfect for the side of LEGACi. I felt like maybe they could have took away a few more heroes of Mobazane or priority focus on other people. For example, taking away the mages for Nicolette, or even taking away the Herald of Basic, because those players have impacted the game so significantly that I feel like Mobazane, he could play almost anything. The Boxia could have worked, the Akai could have worked, but first picking that Barats is going to be a lot of trouble, and it seems like BTK has that strategy, set it up correctly to first.
Are they going to...
And they go for the Diggy ban this time, which has kind of been like, I feel like the Diggy ban has been the quote-unquote like cop-out ban sometimes for BTK and some other teams. Yeah, it's not a bad ban. Like it's still a solid ban, because if it can be like the game changer. We don't see it picked all the time, but when it is picked, it can sometimes be something that kind of seals your fate. So I think I just want to take note to that we see it so randomly sometimes, but it's like you just said, it's the throwaway ban, right? That's still viable, but it's not if you want to try to leave some things open.
Yeah, but this time around, the bans are set on the table during the first phase. 3 of the mages have been taken out. So that kind of leaves that Lilia and Nana being available for both teams. They could opt to go for a little bit more non-meta heroes, but those are still 2 good options for them. I'm not going to be surprised if they pick up the Barats. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Mobazane picking this up once again. Dominating performance in game 1. We're expecting the same for the game 2.
Yeah, I mean, if keep riding till the wheels fall off, and I think it's not a bad vibe. I would like to see see some other things, but LEGACi is going to have to push them to that, right? As long as they're able to dominate with that, there's nothing that LEGACi is going to be. There's nothing that BTK has to do. LEGACi is the one who has to think of something, has to switch something up here. Now on their side, Ruby's open right now, CC's open. A couple options for them.
I think a Lilia could be a potential threat to the Barats. I also think a Kaja carry might be a good combination that Devious has been using up against the Kings of the Kings. And just like you're saying, the Ruby has done a lot of impact in our very first series. So being able to see the Ruby this time around to be flexed onto the XP and the roam could be something. But no, they decided to go for a Matilda. The first time that we see the Matilda being open, and also Arlot has been slotted in for LEGACi.
I didn't even notice that. The Matilda's huge. Paired up with the Arlot, it's a nice way to displace Barats in some of these fights. But here's the thing, LEGACi had a decent comp for objective fighting before, but they have to be able to get there, right? Like they need to be able to like hold down the pit with them.
BTK got the Barats again.
Then BTK will just kind of escape again.
And the Ruby.
But one thing that I do not like about LEGACi so far is this Matilda pretty much shows all their cards of LEGACi. We don't have an Arlot roam anymore. This is going to be an Arlot XP. So BTK can decide now, hey, put the Ruby there, or we put the Ruby in the roam versus LEGACi. They stuck with the Matilda being onto the roam position,
but actually
into the XP, and unfortunately I feel like that kind of closes off their comp. I would have liked it if they potentially just took the Matilda and gone with something else, or taken the Arlot by itself. But Riles now, the Martis has been banned out in the first game. This time around, he's able to pick it up before the second phase.
But they got the Barats again.
And
so
I mean, there's your early game, right? There's something that maybe you can put some pressure down. But the Martis has kind of, you know, it's fallen back. It was at least pretty contested. It was like the number 2, number 3, maybe number 4. Now it feels like it's fallen out of the meta a little bit. It is still viable. There still are possibilities, but LEGACi has to be willing to bring the aggression early on, and it needs to try to find that laning phase kill again and get it onto Riles, and then try to get another one onto Riles, and then just really take off from there.
I do think the Martis still has what it stands for, which is pretty much the immune CC from the first, right? He's able to dash in and out of a lot of different situations, get the decimation to last hit a couple heroes, and especially going up against the carry, I do think he can immune a little bit of damage here and there and kind of catch up with the small dashes that the carry has. But the second ban phase is coming through. BTK opting to ban out the Harith themselves. They feel like it's going to be a high damage onto the gold lane. Another ban BTK could show is the Brody. LEGACi, they decide to go for the Nana, and both teams are still looking for mages, and with 4 mages being banned on the board, Lilia, I think, is going to be a hot topic now.
Lilia, I mean, it's very possible Lilia could get banned here as well. LEGACi does get the first pick coming back, so it might be BTK who wants to ban the Lilia, unless they have an answer for it. Because LEGACi, it's like, yeah, Valentina. That's true too. Valentina is an answer. So BTK may just pick that up if LEGACi decides to go for it. Unless they both just go all in. We ban the Valentina, nope, there it is. Claude gonna get banned out from BTK, CC banned out from LEGACi. And now
if you have questions, guys, you can ask.
It's a good time to either pick up the, I think the Lilia is a little better than the Valentina maybe for LEGACi.
I actually think the Brody might be a pretty good option unless they want to pick up the Lilia first, right? Lilia still has weak matchups, and there's still a lot of mages that are still viable in the current meta. We did see some Xaviers pop in and there in the MPL, so I think Xavier could be an option, especially going up against the siege comp of BTK. But
what do you mean for G1
comes out
game 1?
This is a hero that's been widely used in MPL, and this time around it's definitely gonna shred a lot of the backside of BTK, and added that LEGACi has a lot of physical damage already.
Yeah, and I mean, it kind of checks a lot of boxes for LEGACi, right? Because LEGACi, they have the early game possibility with the Martis. They have late game possibility now with this Natan. It's an insane scale, a straight shredder in the late game. And then they have things to kind of help them get through any mid-game struggles with the Arlot and the Matilda.
Just like the stream, guys. Thank you.
Disengage and whoa. Uranus?
Throwback?
Uranus, throwback? We're going full throwback right now.
This is tough for the side of LEGACi. Uranus, one of the answers
Nathan
to stun and lock him down and not let him kind of regen and, you know, go for a long team fight. But LEGACi only has the Matilda, and quite honestly, the Arlot is not going to be able to do too much in that matchup. So BTK actually drafting extremely strong here. The split push pressure from BTK is still there once again. Uranus and from the Benedetta before, I don't know if there's anything that LEGACi can do to deal with the split push from BTK. Well,
nice one, Odette.
We're getting spicy, boys.
That's MPL,
we're getting
right?
Spicy. That's yeah. That we just saw that. We've seen it in PH. We just had the first pick last night, I think. In
that's PH meta.
I think they won with it.
Odette. They did win with it. It was nuts. It was bonkers. The damage coming out from it is crazy. But it's definitely
PH meta, Odette.
What it can work on, I don't know, man. It normally is great for like certain divey heroes. I don't know how it's going to fit here. Nicolette also is going to be able to steal the Swan Song if she wants. It's kind of a wild card for me here. I'm still not completely comfortable on like how it counters, how it deals with everybody. Like I get the idea of it, but it's interesting.
And it's not like BTK is lacking CC. They have Cold World stopping with 2 CCs. Mobazane also got 1, but Trex, take us in.
This is game number 2, BTK at match point against LEGACi.
Odette is a good
take us to game number 3.
It has
the Kings of Kings again having a great
damage
performance on game 1, choosing to push the momentum onto game 2. Mobazane, second time on the Brats in this series. I do think Mobazane has done quite well on
Yeah,
a lot of these utility style
here in
heroes. And this
PH,
time
it's
around, he's
kinda
picking up
meta.
Rats, which he's done so well. Now, the Swan Song coming in on the last pick,
But
it's a
with
little
the
bit
right
questionable for
composition.
me because I felt like they have to find a way to deal with the Uranus. And
Odette
I
can
just
be
don't
meta
know if
the composition
if
of
the
your team
Odette
is
is
good.
going to be the answer that LEGACi is looking for
Like
to
Matilda.
win in this matchup.
Just Odette can
I think there's a lot of
ride on
possibilities,
Matilda.
right? Taking a look at some of the emblems, nothing too
Sheesh.
crazy. We take
Aggressive.
hold on a second, a little bit of action. They get the steal. I think
the fuck?
they might have been able to take that, and even though it's just a small camp, it's still a big deal in the laning phase. Mobazane already about to hit level 4.
Mobazane is
inside.
aggressive. Oh, nice.
There it is. Finds
It's
his
there.
mark and takes out Koyaken.
I do want to point out that Basic has opted to go for Brave Smite along with the Festival of Bloods on his second emblem, giving him a lot of utility and sustain. And a lot of the carries nowadays,
What are you
they
saying,
love
Yui?
to build this like
What are you
CC
saying,
build,
Yui?
right? They go for
That's,
they go for
meta
the
for carry
Corrosion
right
Scythe
now.
for some slows on the auto attacks, and then they go with the Thunder Belt to get
The
even
Smite.
more procs along. And damn, look at this
And
matchup again. Milo the GOAT
Festival of Blood.
proving why he's got that nickname.
Milo the Go. Gonna come in.
Oh shit, you're dead.
A little bit
Oh, no.
damage on the Nicolette though. Nicolette uses a flicker. Able to just escape out from the grasp of Riles. Turtle is up though. And BTK has several members ready to fight for it. Nicolette has taken the decimation.
Oh,
Wondering if we're going to get to see that one.
Why are
Nam
they
Nam comes in, pushes him against the wall.
backing?
Nicolette going to look for the decimation, and there it is, popping off
Oh,
into the
shit.
next target. Another one goes down.
Oh,
No,
shit, you're
tries to
dead.
lock on Riles, but unable to get the kill. But still, LEGACi is forced away, and
You
the
got the
turtle
advantage.
goes to Mobazane.
Level advantage.
Clean
and
fight
what
coming
they
out from
running?
BTK again as they take out Riles underneath the mid tower. It's going to be a 3-4-0 along with the objective, a 3k gold lead.
What
in
happened?
2
What happened to
minutes. This is going to
LEGACi?
be quite tough. The members of LEGACi and even top side
Game 1,
PDR
they're,
is struggling to deal
actually,
with the aggressiveness of that sheep.
I think BTK told
Definitely a problem.
Right now, they're just
So what are we at? We're at 4-0 of that sheep. He's a goat, man. He's not a sheep. There's a difference.
My bad.
Mobazane, though, taking a little bit of damage. PDR with the trying to get the outplay, not able to do it. Mobazane picks up that kill, 2-0.
That's suicide.
Yeah, this smells a lot of trouble for LEGACi. They really have to be able to
Suicide.
stand even against these contenders of the team.
Just
quite
one
honestly, they're
clash.
struggling a little bit in the early game. I do
One
think
clash,
that their
and
comp-wise, they could clear up a little bit
LEGACi
more.
can turn it
Try
around.
to maybe fit into the strategy of BTK where they always have a split pusher on the XP side, right? Bring that split pusher in and maybe find a little bit of a meta comp on the mid.
Ooh, I'm offended.
Oh,
Nash. Out comes
see,
Swan
see?
Song. Nicolette able to get away, though.
That Odette
too
is
major on the mid side.
kind of burst damage.
Yeah, and take a look at Nicolette's
hurt.
emblem. The guy, she got the quantum charge coming in, and I do know there's been a hype of the quantum
Ida
charge
slash.
she used on everyone, but on the Valentina, that's actually quite interesting, but I think it fits well with her style, right? Gives her a little bit of mobility, a little
If
bit
they
more
can
auto
use this
attack,
Matilda Odette combo,
burst early on, along with a little bit
They
of
can win
regen.
this game.
So I think it actually works quite well. A lot of the mages might be opting for that, but 4k gold lead, 4 minutes in, a clean sweep for BTK so far. They got a
Kratos
lot of
is
units on
good.
top side tracks.
Amielo is going to become a huge problem
Kratos
here
plus
very
play.
soon. Already kind of is a problem. Now Mobazane once again going to take another orange buff. This is the second game in a row. Riles is just unable to clear his own jungle.
Yeah, good flicker coming out from Kuya Ken. If he
Show the
did
item, please.
get hit by the Barats, I think
Let's
that
check
does
the
smell a
item.
lot of death for the side of LEGACi.
Why
And
Nathan
now
has-
they have to choose and try to find a way to
Find their
defend,
weakness.
but look at Milo here
I
being
weakness
so
find them.
annoying.
Oh, I told you.
Oh, a lot of damage for the Swan
Odette
Song.
has a lot of damage.
So there it is. That's one of the things that I have
Oh,
not seen
whoa,
just
whoa,
yet.
whoa. What are
Wait
you
a second, a
doing?
lot of damage on the Cold World. They
Oh,
come in,
shit.
they locked up Riles,
The
able to find the
fuck, what
kill
they
though.
do?
But now he's in a tight spot.
What
Taking
did
damage from
they
Mobazane.
do?
PDR able to get the final slash on Amielo. They're on the chase. Riles will not escape
Oh
with his
my
life.
God,
and
they
neither
throw
will
it.
PDR.
Yeah, it's gonna be an 8-1 overall scoreboard. The
Probably,
lead is still for
Riles.
BTK. 1k gold per minute. And
stop
Wolf
the-
Basic looking for a flicker onto this Natan.
Well, Jolie having a
Stop
rough
the option
time.
for,
Game number 2 as
for the-
well.
Matilda,
First
Matilda,
basic
sorry.
gets the 1v1 with the Harith, and now it's with the carry.
Yeah, but the tower does fall onto the bot side, so a little bit of hope rising for the side of LEGACi. Let's take a look at this replay, though. The Swan Song does come through, but the circling eagle is what I want to talk about.
Comes in,
I don't talk
but it
about
kind of
anything.
comes into a death sentence there. A little bit of trouble overall.
Bart is,
the idea was good, but you have to constantly be
pulled
careful
it
for Cold
already.
World. Right before he died, he gets the
He
lockup.
doesn't need to
Yeah, and of course, the
dash.
execution was just not there for the side of LEGACi. The gold lead is still widening at this 6-minute mark, and the members of BTK spread it across the map, but winning across the map also. And I just want to say, Basic, man, he's been winning in this gold lane by himself, and once again, he is doing so well. Zane?
Zane gets it to Tona's
Oh.
Kuya Nash. Swan Song comes out, but not quick enough before deletion.
Nathan.
Kuya Ken
Sheesh.
now also looking for something.
Oh, you're
Moba's in a
dead
little bit of
again,
trouble.
boy.
PDR with the Vengeance. The Vengeance trying to get away. BTK does not
God,
lose a
it's
member
all-
just yet,
it's
but
only
they
6
find
minutes.
Riles and Nash, and now they're going to come for that purple buff.
Yeah, it's a tough scene to watch. 8K gold lead already at 6 minutes. This is not something that we do want to see for any of the teams in NACT. But the dominant performance of BTK, they're really showing that they have switched up their strategy from their 2 losses yesterday against A77.
For sure.
I think this is
They need
a
to show
good
their
statement
items at least.
for all the BTK fans out there.
So that viewers have idea.
Verify. I mean, at
Have
this
an
point, BTK
idea.
are doing the same thing they did last game. They're just choking out LEGACi. Just clasping around them and slowly they're just strangling them out from their gold, from their jungle, from objectives, just pushing in more and more until there's nowhere left for LEGACi.
I think
to move.
LEGACi can still
It's honestly due to the fact that BTK
Come back
has
on
so much in their winning lanes, right? The carry.
They
winning
just
out
need
on the
to
bot
shut
side by
down
himself. Milo
Barats.
also doing so well, and
They
you
just
can
need to
even
shut
see
down
Moba
Moba
Zane here dominating
And,
in the jungle
they can,
by
Oh my
himself.
God, the 1v1 then turns into a 1v2. Mobazane still comes out on top. The gold lead is
Why
escaping
they
them.
keep
BTK
trying
at 10k.
not to ban this.
Yeah, the 10K
Barats.
is just very, very hard to deal with, and we haven't really seen
Barats
a
is hard
10K
to
gold
deal
lead.
with.
7 minutes in just shows you the difference between these two teams. BTK definitely.
I think
in
the
style,
coach of LEGACi is
definitely
from
not
PH.
rusty at all. They are looking to perform and looking to go ahead deep
It
in
was
the series.
said
Yeah, I mean, I
before.
almost feel like LEGACi win for the Fredrin band. I almost feel like maybe Barats was the bigger
Barats.
problem. PDR going to get pushed back and taken out. Decimation from Nicolette.
They need to
Nice
shut
on
down the
Randall, outside
Barats.
to Ken taken out
Once
next.
they
Nicolette
shut it
picking up
down,
another
they
one.
can win.
Swansong
Oh!
comes in with the flicker though, but it doesn't matter. Mobazane and
That's
Basic
right.
take him
Mobazane
out
is
so
already got
fast.
that.
There's no time for the ult to stand.
Yeah, but the GOAT has
What's happening
fallen here. It's a
to
3-for-1 trade for
LEGACi?
the GOAT. BTK
They're showing
still
potential
on
a while
top.
ago,
We're looking at
bro.
about 11K gold lead.
They're showing
8
potential a
minutes
while
in. It
ago.
smells a
Game
lot of
one.
trouble for the side of LEGACi. But for the side of LEGACi, they still have the potential to come back in this game, right? We saw the Swan Song making a significant
item.
impact in almost every single team fight. And paired with the Natan, which has quite a bit of gold, he's built up the Feather and also the Corrosions, the Calamity. So he's definitely
you should
there
build
in play. But
the
BTK
item
still
gold
has
lead.
a substantial
Like,
gold lead. It's
the
very,
Dota way.
very hard to deal with the team fight there. Maybe potentially try to pick
For
off
the
1 or
Martys.
2
Because,
members. But
they-
if it's going to be Milo in the front, dude, there's
They
no
already,
way that
behind.
GOAT is going to die here.
4,000 gold lead between Mobazane and Riles
They're
right
so
now.
squishy if you
5 levels ahead.
he built
Mobazane
the
is the big dino on the
Counter-Strike,
block
that's why
right
he's
now.
so squishy.
At this point, BTK is going to do the same thing they did last game. Just keep on coming in a bit more. Go for this next Lord. They let
Yes,
the
best
bottom
of
lane
3.
push back a little bit. Makes it a little bit harder for LEGACi to try to come in from that angle. I mean,
Yes, it's best of
BTK
3.
feels good right
best
now.
of,
It doesn't feel
best
like
of
there's
3.
much of an answer for LEGACi.
Yeah, and Zane 7-0-5. Once again, a perfect game for him on this Barats. It's very hard to shut Zane down when he gets the heroes that he wants, and Barats has definitely been a high priority of
Mielo the
BTK.
GOAT is doing
First
the
picked
work.
Both of those matches, definitely telling a story that they're not scared to just let Zane pick the best blind pick hero and have the whole entire team kind of build off of it. And look at the supporting cast. Nicolette 3-0-7 also doing quite well. The members are all onto the top side. Is BTK gonna clash?
Why are
with
they
the
giving
advantage that they have?
Barats?
Tonos welcome.
So
Not
they're
able to
having a
land
hard
onto
time.
anybody. But it
facing
doesn't
that.
matter because the rest of the team is here to help out Ken.
Oh,
Taking
shit,
all the
the
damage.
dead.
Swanson comes in though.
Oh, dead.
Able to unload on some of the
Nice.
members. Nicolette goes down.
We need the game,
Koya
guys.
Nash
We
with
need
the
the game,
shutdown
please.
and the double.
Oh.
Will it be enough though?
Oh,
Because
shit.
BTK is still riding forward as Nash falls. It's 3 for 2. Just when Legacy had a shot, they lose it.
Yeah, I thought for a second the Swang Song was going to deal a lot more damage, but the members of BTK having a lot of sustain. And look at the 3 members that are alive. Those are 3 tanky boys, and I just don't know if there's any response coming out from LG to be able to deal with the tankiness coming out, because look at them. They're just tanking the towers at mid lane and taking whatever they want.
They're just under tower, taking all the shots to the face. It's going to be a while until Jolie really outputs the damage they need. And Koya Ken going to get stomped on.
Oh,
walked
shit.
on. Milo looking for the kill, unable to get it though. BTK, literally,
Go!
it's their
3v5.
bulky members
Why are they
just
running?
standing in the mid lane. Lord coming soon.
Yeah, they don't have a response for the tankiness of BTK.
Oh shit!
Ooh, Ken
What happened to
pulled in.
Kuya Ken?
Basic shreds him down with a speedy light wheel.
Oh,
Riles
shit.
getting next to fall, a double
That's-
kill
that's
for
Gary.
Basic. They're gonna move back in. Milo able to pick up
Oh,
Nash
that's
now.
Gary's.
They're on to the base. They've got one wave. But
no.
it should be all they need. Nicolette doesn't
Oh
care
my
about the
God,
base. She's
2-0.
going for kills,
GG.
going for KDA, and BTK takes game number 2.
GG, BTK.
Another strong showing, Trex, for BTK here, taking game 2 of our second series, a 2-0 clean sweep. The overall score is 23-5, and I think they took care of business quite in a fashion there. 23-5 and 47 is going to be the overall KDA of the Bloodthirsty Kings. And of course, this match is going to be led by Zane with a perfect score. We don't have the scores on the board, but honestly, BTK drafted well, prioritize Zane on the heroes that he wants, and the whole entire team came together, played a perfect game against LEGACi, and I want to see them push this momentum onto their next match.
Most definitely. I mean, just a very clean two games from BTK, just showing dominance over LEGACi. They had a rough day yesterday, but today they came in very well polished. I feel like every member on the team executed their job to perfection.
And definitely they need to be executing their job into perfection, because unfortunately
What
they
happened
did
to LEGACi
lose
now,
out
guys?
on day 1, but
They
this time
lost
around they're able to come
both
back,
matches
pushing LEGACi
yesterday and
on
today.
to the bottom side of the bracket. And if you take a look at the team statistics, it definitely shows a one-sided match for the side of LEGACi. They're just unable to
That will
find
be
any
difficult for
kills
them
and
to
bounce
come
back
back.
versus
Or
BTK winning at all
if they
games.
can
We
win
saw Milo
all of their
dominating in the
games
XP position against PDR like
future.
it was no other. And we also
The
saw
future
Basic
matches,
able to grab up a few solo
they'll
kills
be
from
able to
both
come back.
of the games going up against Jolie. So honestly, BTK winning out on all the lanes. I think LEGACi has some homework to do to be able to stand against the Kings of the Kings League.
I'll tell you what, man. BTK, they showed up, they showed out, dude. Exactly what they needed to be doing. Again,
Come on,
you
Zeke.
guys said it well. They played a little bit rough yesterday, but sure enough, they came in
Transform.
looking sharp today and dangerous. They
One more
were.
Titan.
Very dangerous indeed. I think overall, just you mentioned it, UA. They lost out on day 1, but they came in very clean, able to get a 2-0 sweep, which is
he's the
something
host.
BTK needs if they want to try to hold a high standing
So
by the
play
end
by
of the season.
play and analytics.
And you know, this might project a fluke on the day 1. It could be the synergy difference. And of course, we've seen a lot of teams kind of bounce around, especially early on in the season. We would think, hey man, the standings of the first week, that means something, but honestly, it
God,
doesn't. These
LEGACi.
teams, everyone can
Come
kind
on.
of beat each other, and sometimes it just takes a few losses to be able to bounce back. And I think BTK definitely is one of those teams
But of
that
course,
have the ability to bounce
It's
back
predicted
after any
BTK
losses.
will win this game.
I agree 100%. BTK has been known to, I don't want to say play the field, but you know they've taken their losses, but they've definitely taken their wins, and they've managed to do a fantastic
They
job
won
in the seasons
because
past to effectively
they're
make their way
BTK.
to, you know, a lot of the times the grand finals. So with that being said, you know, could this be something that we're seeing? Are they just working themselves up? Maybe they didn't take the first day super seriously. Maybe it was a fluke, but it does go without saying that they did lose it. So they are going to have to put in a little bit more work for them to find themselves in that good standing. So today's wins 2-0, absolutely fantastic for them.
You know, I do have to say this. I don't want to take anything away from Area 77, because if there's one thing I know about BTK, if there's one thing I know about Mr. Mike Koskin, Mobazane himself, he doesn't like losing. I think it's the same thing with Basic, same thing with a lot of those players, and I think they were definitely giving it their all yesterday. And Area 77 got that win, you know, just out of pure grit. I think today BTK was a better team. They came in stronger. And I think LEGACi definitely had some rough moments from draft to gameplay. And speaking of LEGACi, this is a hard punch, right? All day we've been stressing about the importance of at least getting one game in these best of threes, at least putting a point on the board. And now they've lost 2 games, and they're sitting still at 0 points.
But I do think LEGACi has a few moments that they do shine well.
BloodHounds versus
coming out to play wasn't a
NACT
strong showing in the XP lane, but
BloodHounds
sometimes
versus
the rotations
NACT
coming
Hordes,
up from PDR, the impact that he has was actually quite a strong showing. Like, I think there's definitely a lot of hope for LEGACi to kind of build around and adjust, and especially since it's early on in the season, they have a lot of adjustments to do. And once again, you're facing against the Kings of the Kings. These guys have won quite a bit, and with the leadership of Mobazane, it's going to be a tough
BloodHounds versus
I don't
NACT
want to count LEGACi out just
after
yet.
this,
I feel like the season is
and
quite
then
long,
after
and
that,
I think they have a lot of work to prepare for. But I
Gaimin
don't think it's
Gladiators
completely
versus
impossible for them to
A77.
turn this new leaf and get the lead back into their favor.
I think that was very well said. And you know, I think the big thing that, again, we do have to take into account is LEGACi is a little bit newer. But with that being said, I think that their potential for growth, immediate growth, is a lot higher than some of these other teams that they've been going up against, because again, they are more experienced. Does that mean that they have a larger skill gap between them? No, but when you're talking about when this team gets that synergy going and gets that practice that really helps open up things for them, they're going to continue on a week-to-week basis to become more lethal. So every match that they go into, we can expect to see a stronger LEGACi. You know, we saw PDR trying to set up for some really good plays. You know, we just have to find that team there.
Yeah, I think all of them, it's the common mistakes that you see sometimes from certain teams. It's, you know, you go in one at a time, you look for those big plays, and then the rest of your team isn't there to quite follow up. On the Grok PDR, there's a few times he got 3-man wild charges, but it was a little too late, you know, a little bit not at the right time. So LEGACi, I think they have some opportunity, but maybe don't get
watch out for
crazy.
A77. Might see them in semi-grand finals. Wow.
Definitely some possibilities for them. I mean, it is a slightly shorter season, so like time is of the essence, right? It's not a double round robin like a lot of MPLs. It's a single round robin. You only got 7 games, 7 series. You're not going to get to play every single team again. So once you lose to a team, you lose your shot at getting get-backs.
I'm just reading, guys.
Playoffs. So it still is important for LEGACi. They're going to have to learn quick. Right? They're going to have to evolve fast if they want to compete in NACT.
And BTK is a extremely strong team. We can see the showings of the lanes. Milo pretty much just dominating in that split push area. It's not even like
Milo's
the
good.
XP lane itself. It's
The
how
goat.
he's putting himself in the role of BTK for them to win. Right, he's split pushing constantly. The Benedetta, the Uranus, both are extremely strong at that perspective, and you know, making sure that he is winning in the XP lane. And Basic also did not let loose of the gas pedal. He was just dominating in that gold lane, losing the tower, but gaining kills left and right by himself. And that is extremely hard to deal with, especially when you're talking about the best of the best players in this NACT. They've dominated in their lanes and against majority of the players out there. But unfortunately, LEGACi did fall short to the Kings.
I hope they
this time around, the Kings
the,
definitely is burning
winning,
a lot of fuel to get
team.
themselves back into a good standing.
Like MPL PH and MPL.
Again, I agree. BTK, they showed up today, they showed out. But without further ado, let's get into this MVP
they have
spot.
a segment like
Trex,
that.
you want to take us through it?
Yeah, I think something important too that we kind of missed out last time is this is going to be MVP of overall series, the MVP that we show at the end. Last time I was a little confused. I thought it was just of the game, but every time we show the MVP at the end of the series, it's who did the best overall, and Mobazane definitely had a very strong performance in the last game. We can see some of these highlights, Yue.
Yeah, the highlights coming through. Zane,
They give the
of course,
buttocks.
being the dinosaur himself, just dominating everywhere. It doesn't really show the
They
full entire
gave
game
the
here, but
buttocks
Mobazane
both
definitely
games.
picking up a lot of kills. And take a look at that. The
What
CC
are they
coming
going
through,
to
is
expect?
able to get that
They're gonna
solo
win?
pick off of the Daytona's welcoming and further
course
pushing
not.
their team into that lead. And the Zane
Even in
second skill
MPLPH,
on this Barats
Barats
is so
is some meta.
good. He's able to display so many different members and zoning
So
out
why
in
would you
plenty
give
of
the
different
Barats?
opportunities.
Just ban it
Completely
already.
well deserved. 7, 0, and 9 is his KDA, and honestly, he's done so well in the last few games.
I think even in the very beginning, getting that early, remember he got the early level 4 by stealing the camp.
So
immediately
fast.
goes to mid lane. I mean, yeah, quick level 4. Immediately moves to mid lane and gets that Atona's welcome, and it was just vicious, Zeke.
Yeah.
So I do think that it goes without saying, you know, Barats has been absolutely monstrous across the season, even in a
A lot
lot
of
of
fans
Data
in PH,
to
huh?
be like, is this all or nothing for Mobazane? Like, do we always ban Fred and Barats against Mobazane? I think that story still has to be told.
And I also do think BTK has the strategy already. Like, they're prepared that, hey, the Fredrin is not going to be available. The Barats, most of the time, is not going to be available. And if they don't pick it up early on, they're going to lose out on that pick. And I think BTK already understands that strategy. They're not giving any heroes away. Like, they're taking the Barats as soon as possible. They're getting Zane on his favorite heroes as soon as he can to be able to deliver the performance. And we're not talking about last picking for Zane. It's a first pick for him, and he dominates the lane. That's extremely hard to do, especially when there's so many heroes, so many counter matchups, so many slows. Zane is just pretty much brute forcing it through with his favorite hero and dominating the game.
Well said. Again, we see Zane as just one of those jungles who just, it seems like on any real hero, you know, in any real matchup, he's just somebody who's very capable of getting in and doing what he has to do and being one of the best players on the map at doing it. So with that, all due respect. Trex, how do you feel about LEGACi's performances in the end? What do you feel like they could have done a little bit towards the end to try to clean up?
Well, before I go on too far, I'm pretty sure we got to go to a break real fast so we can all get ready for the next series ahead. I know you wanted to keep talking, Zeke, but it's time to take a break.
Oh, break time.
And let's get moving. This next matchup is going to be BloodHounds versus the NIGHTHorde. Trex, how you feeling about it?
It's
This
NACT
is a
versus
game that was a
BloodHounds, and then
toss-up for
after
me.
this,
I did some predictions
it's,
early on in the week, and
Boon's
this
team,
is like my
Gaimin
cop-out game.
Gladiators,
This is the game that I
and
didn't
A77.
want to choose because for me it was a very hard choice. So I think this could be one of the closest matches of the day.
And, you know, BloodHounds has shown a pretty strong standing throughout every single NACT, placing them, you know, high ups, especially near the 4-5 position, pretty much contending for the top 4. And also NIGHTHorde has shown a very strong standing before with their new with their old roster, and now with a complete different one. NIGHTHorde is definitely a team to watch out for. We don't know how they do against any of these top teams, and to stand against a very experienced lineup for BloodHounds, it's definitely going to be quite tough for NIGHTHorde to maybe find the momentum in the series.
Absolutely. I do think in terms of experience, I do think that, you know, the ease of it might come a little bit more naturally to the BloodHounds. But again, at the same time, the NIGHTHorde has been extremely potent within the community. They've been making a lot of big moves and doing a whole lot of different like small tournaments, etc., to try to bring themselves up to the level. And I think I like what I see up to this point. I right along with Trex, this is one of those matchups where I said, you know, it really could go either way.
I mean, these are both of these orgs or both of these teams, whatever you want to call them. Yes, they don't have big sponsorships, so maybe they're not orgs yet, but at this point, they are kind of the new age names of NA, right? We know the BTKs, we know the Gosus. I know the name has changed a few times, but GG, the players are all still kind of household names for NACT. BloodHounds and NIGHTHorde are two teams that have definitely had a journey over the past year and a half, right? They used to be top 32 teams, top 64 teams, moved their way up, became top 16 teams, finally break into NACT top 8 in the past few seasons, and kind of sat towards more of the bottom, and they've been inching their way up. So seeing these two teams clash, kind of for who really belongs as the number 4 slot, who really belongs as the number 3 slot, which one of us can kind of maybe even break it to a grand finals before the other one, because that's a story to tell, right? Seeing NIGHTHORDE or BloodHounds possibly make it to grand finals could be something very insane for NACT.
Yeah, and BloodHounds' roster has been pretty much set in stone for quite a long time. Their players have been on the same team, and that's why BloodHounds, for me, is proven to be one of those top 4 teams. You have Bokarosco leading as the captain, the mage, and pretty much the man of himself, Ooga Booga Powerless, as you guys know him, especially with all the different heroes that he plays. Also has been a strong performer on the BloodHounds. Sleeps and Templess follows along with Ramsey, aka Bossy. Shoutouts to you. But BloodHounds, the roster that they have is just so consistent, and I feel like this could be the season, Trex, that they take care of business and, you know, push themselves into that contending spots that DA, GG, and BTK have always been.
So I think for me, I'm looking at the lineup, and I just can't get over how potent it is on the side of BloodHounds. You know, we see Boka, we see Templess, we say Ooga Booga, you know, and friends. But this team, it's just across the board, just such strong North American players. Like, I just know I couldn't be me. It couldn't be me going up against these guys. I'd probably just get into the game and just quit it, you know?
I mean, there's one thing that I have to point out. If any team has the best hair, it is definitely Bokarosco's team, BloodHounds. I mean, those guys got style right there. We got the frosted tips. We got the long, luxurious hair. We got Bokarosco with the ponytail going on right now. It is vibes on BloodHounds, Zeke.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, let's get into this other roster. UA?
Yes, we do have NIGHTHORDE coming through. Sayori on the middle of the map, the mage player for their team, Momi,
Sayori,
and
Momoy,
and also Nikoko, a new player on the NIGHTHORDE that is coming through for this game. Nikoko, I actually have a personal played with him personally myself, and he's actually an extremely strong and talented multiplayer. So seeing him on this roster is going to be quite interesting.
Wow.
And the members of NIGHTHORDE, this is a brand new roster. We haven't seen these guys on NIGHTHORDE from the last season. So again, this is kind of like the Fiend situation where they have to play against a renowned team like BloodHounds, and it's very exciting to see what type of plays these players are going to have to do in order for them to prevail in this series, Zeke.
There's
Absolutely,
another
you said it right. And oh my foe, you know,
player.
oh my, he's again just one of those explosive characters within the North American scene that I'm kind of wondering to see some big plays from him. You know, he's one of those names that does stick out a little bit more because he has been a little bit more consistent within NIGHTHORDE. So I'm kind of wondering if it's going to be his expertise that helps lead this team into a potential win tonight. Trex?
I mean, there's definitely a lot for NIGHTHORDE here. Yes, the roster's a little different than last season, but still it's some powerful players. Definitely a pretty strong up-and-coming team. And I think what UA said earlier is with BloodHounds, you have the synergy, right? You have a team that has been together for a long time. I think the problems that I see with BloodHounds is sometimes they get a little bit too loose. Sometimes they get a little bit too, I think their heads get a little bit ahead of their feet, right? Especially when it comes to drafts, when it comes to, you know, what are we prioritizing? What are we doing in the game? And I think BloodHounds, the best thing for them is just to keep it simple, right? Keep it to the basics, keep it meta, don't get too crazy, and just play a tight game. And if they can do that, their synergy should carry them to victory.
And I do think the meta this time around for BloodHounds actually works quite well, right? Easy Peasy has been such a strong fighter in the jungle and also very utility based, right? He has the Explore, he has the Martis, and now paired with some of the new metas like the Barat and also the Boxia, it's a very, very strong meta for the side of NIGHTHORDE. And even with Bokarosco on the mid side, he's able to use these long range mages like the Vexana and the Faramis and also the Navaria, which he's been super pro efficient on. I do think BloodHounds has a slight advantage in terms of the meta, but not taking anything away from NACT. Those players are extremely strong. I've seen them perform in previous tournaments. They actually did win in one of the smaller tournaments during January. So a very, very strong performing team. Excited to see how these two guys play out.
Again, two giants sleeping on the hill, but one of them's got to wake up. So who do we think's going to take the lead? Let's get straight into these predictions.
I think it's definitely a toss-up. I think this could be the first time things are split, and there it is. It's 3 votes to 3 votes. For me, I did end up taking NACT here. I think BloodHounds have the potential to pull it off, but after the loss yesterday, after some of those early season problems, I think NACT is going to feel good about this game.
I do think BloodHounds stand a little bit above NACT just because that these guys, they've stuck it together.
3 BloodHounds and 3 NACT. Wow.
So I do think in terms of experience, BloodHounds is going to win, but NACT is definitely going to put up a very strong fight, Zeke.
This is a great match.
For me, again, I was super split on this one. Honestly, if it were up to me, my little color would be purple, right? Because I don't know which team I really want to win, and I don't think it really comes down to what I want to win. For me, BH has the experience to make things happen, but at the same time, NACT, again, has just been making so many waves and ripples within the community that I think that we just can't ignore that. So I think in terms of who's a little bit more fresh cut right now, I think that NACT is going to have the youth and the fresh faces enough to bring.
Who do you think gonna win, guys?
What makes this game interesting again is, and it's been this way so far for all 3 matches tonight, is it's either the 2 teams that won yesterday against each other, 2 teams that lost against each other, and once again now we have 2 teams that got swept yesterday going against each other, and then the final series of the night is 2 teams that won again. So no matter what, there is some mix-up happening on the board tonight. Someone's got to get a dub, someone's got to get some points on the board here, and someone might get a point if it follows what happened last time. Maybe another team stays at 0.
Yeah, and we could stress a little bit more about the point system. If you guys do win a match, you do get the point. So even if you are going to lose the whole series, winning a match is going to be quite big here. We already know that for the side of LEGACi, they are going to be on the bottom so far with 0 wins. So it's going to be determined if BloodHounds or the side of NACT can get a point here in order for them to be a little bit higher in the standings. Zeke.
So, all that information aside, it's time to quit guessing and let's get right into it.
I like it. A beautiful send-off from Zeke there. BloodHounds up against NACT. BloodHounds will be on the blue side. Or no, NACT will be on the blue side. BloodHounds will have second pick. Excited to see how it goes.
The bans are on the table already. The Arlot and the Vexana gets taken out for the side of BloodHounds. Nefarious, which Boca has been playing quite a bit, along with the Matilda, is taken out from the BloodHounds
Nicolette
side.
and
what's interesting
versus
is that
Sayori
BloodHounds, they have Booga on this roam, and he traditionally does not play a lot of the meta. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of bans like the Tigreal and the Minotaur, because he might just pull out the Hylos once again for the show. Now, for the side of NACT though, a lot of these players are quite standard, and you know, I just want to point out that Nikoko, this raw element, we have not seen him play NACT, and we don't really know what this player does. So I think that is going to be an element of surprise that NACT has in their pockets to be able to switch up the matchup, especially going against a renowned team like BloodHounds.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, I think if there's going to be a time tonight when we see some spicy picks, this could definitely be the series. It's but the problem is it's something I don't want to see from BloodHounds, because that is where I think they fall off sometimes. And yes, they can get the win here and there with it, but I think, as I was saying before this whole series started, is I want to see BloodHounds keep it simple, man. I want to see them just pick what normal, strong teams pick. Don't get too crazy, at least not this early in the season.
Well, this is an interesting first pick coming out from Nikoko, a deny pick going out against Easy Peasy, but on the side of BloodHounds, we actually don't see easy peasy in the jungle this time around. I think Ramsey is the one, and Tempest actually is going to be opting in for the game. I know Tempest is going to be the XP laner. I'm assuming Ramsey here is going to be in that jungle position. So taking the Xborg, I'm not sure if that's exactly the best pick, but the Guinevere gets to come out and play. And this is a hero that we've seen quite often before, but it seems like she has faded away with a lot of the patches recently.
Yeah, some of her range got reduced for her first skill.
Sayori
but
cam.
still, do I think she's completely
Let's
unviable?
go. Let's wait
No,
for
I
the
think there's
Sayori
some
cam.
possibilities here. I think it still works very well when it comes down to certain neutral objectives. One of the major problems with Gwyn, though, is like once you dive in, once we get into the late game, that Violent Requiem is like a death sentence, man. You jump in and there's no getting out. You're gonna get shredded down by enemy marksmen. So unless you're catching the big damage dealers of NightHorde, it could become a problem in mid to late game.
Now, I just want to point out that this is going to be the first Novaria that we've seen in today's series. And Novaria has been a hot ban recently, along with the Vexana. So this time around, Boca has been placed onto this hero. Novaria is one of those heroes that can kind of control the flow of the team fight, right? One ultimate is a disengage from the whole entire team. The second skill paired up with Ice Queen Wand can provide a lot of the slow, and it depends on what kind of build Boca chooses to go. He can opt to go for that high burst, or he could choose to go for more of a utility. Now, the response from NightHorde, the Lilia gets picked up, and we've seen this hero do quite the damage, but unfortunately I feel like today we haven't seen a lot of success from that purple mage.
For sure. Now with the second phase of bans, the Claude, the Martis, does BloodHounds just go full into the gold lane here, maybe take out the Brody or the Bruno, one of those two options? Harriet's become this super hot pick today, so you know at this point it's like you never know in the gold lane, and I feel like the gold lane is kind of hard to ban into right now. Like, yes, the Claude and the carry seem to be the defined meta currently, but also so much of it is just trade-off, so much of it is just mechanics. Any gold laner a lot of gold laners can be very viable right now.
Yeah, the Brody is available, the Natan is also available there. There's a lot of different heroes that NightHorde can kind of opt into, but it is going to be BloodHounds' turn as NightHorde bans out the use.
They're gonna get the
XP laner, right? So BloodHounds a little bit sliver on the options here. They have to deal with the Xborg, and I do think one of the heroes that Mr. Milo was playing on the last game,
let's go Uga Buga Tigreal,
could come out to play, but I'm not exactly sure if that's going to be BloodHounds' strategy this time around.
You never know, man. Milo made it look
If
like a very good
BloodHounds
hero. He made it work very well.
Pick
But also the fact that
right
they
now,
last picked it when there, like you said, there was no
NightHorde will
CC,
pick it.
did make
For
it viable.
sure, 100%.
The current looks of things, depending on what NightHorde picks, it could be a possible good pick for BloodHounds. EXP is another lane where lots of things can work. I feel like right now. Yes, there's some that are better than others, but there
look at the composition, guys.
The question is still, is this Gwenny going to be jungle? Is it going to be Roam? Is this Paquito going to flex in a jungle? A lot of possibilities for the side of BloodHounds here.
But Tigreal, Lilia, and Xborg.
Raph appearance coming out for today. This has not been a very traditional roam hero, especially with the new metas of the Minotaur and also the Tigreal. Just feels like the Raph just doesn't have that
Uga Buga needs to pick the Tigreal
out a lot of bushes.
So
but the synergy paired up with the Xborg and the Rats, the movement speed that the Raphael gives is going to be immense in a lot of these team fights of re-engaging and making sure that they can capitalize on a lot of the mistakes that Bloodhound makes. Now, the Paquito is quite interesting, just like you're saying here. Paquito and the Guinevere can both be flexed onto multiple positions. So Bloodhounds not showing a lot of their cards so far.
I mean, NightHorde right now is just a ball of death, right? It's like you already know all 5 of these heroes. Nobody's really, unless you see a Last Insanity or something. Everyone's gonna be grouped up. Raph is just gonna be moving with them, and it's just gonna be advanced forward. Why check a bush when all of us are gonna jump into the bush together? You know, like they don't need. That's pretty much what the plan is gonna be here. You've got tons of sustainability. You have some of the damage. It's very kind of, you know, like Blacklist-esque here, old school. Ube, let's group together. Now, BloodHounds, on the other hand, I think at that point, do they pick something? They have some movement speed. They can kind of take angles a bit more here. And here comes the Kaja.
Why Kaja?
I'm not against it. Kaja hasn't been like the most viable pick, but he's gonna have to be careful coming in because there's definitely a lot of threats.
Kaja.
I would have liked that BloodHounds picked up a stronger front line, right? Right now, so far, there's not many members of NightHorde that can get onto Boca on this Novaria. And typically, when it comes down to this situation, Novaria is going to go
If they're going to use Kaja, they'll just...
Even at a losing game, he's going to be like 3-0
They'll just...
right? But the Kaja coming out and play means that BloodHounds is looking for a lot of pickoffs. And paired up with Sleeps can be quite the dangerous situation, but it does not provide the front line that I think BloodHounds is looking for. The pack in the front, it's not going to be possible. He's building a lot of physical damage, and the Guinevere, yes, there's the Violet Requiem to be able to go in, but it is still not a one-size-fits-all solution to deal with the front line, to sustain the mobility of the Raphael paired with the Barats and the Export.
I feel like something like the Minotaur, the Grok, something that maybe also could have hit NightHorde when they're very grouped up around this Rafaela. You know, something CC to stop the heals from coming for a time being. I think that could have been a great answer, but they do have pressure, right? If BloodHounds, once the level 4 spike comes for the Paquito and the Kaja and the Guinevere, if they can get some kills, if, you know, I mean, because Paquito packs a punch, man. Guinevere hits pretty hard in the laning phase. And then you, like you said, you have the carry, you have a lot of these things. So if they can execute it well, it could be huge for them, but only time will tell as we're about to jump into the land of Dawn. This is BloodHounds up against NightHorde, game number 1.
Yeah, is it going to be the newfound team NightHorde coming through with a brand new roster? Or is it going to be the veterans of BloodHounds, where they have taken a lot, especially with the team of Sleeps, Boca, Tempest. We've seen all these people paired up with Uga Buga and Ramsey. It's going to be a tough showing from both of these teams. Already, a lot of aggression onto the mid side.
See?
Both mids.
Kaja can't get near because of Rafaela
options here. Like I said, I feel like BloodHounds need to know their time to shine and when not to, right? And I think once they hit level 4, once Kaja gets level 4, once Ramses on this Paquito gets the ultimate and gets the knockout strike in, that's going to be an important time for BloodHounds to look for plays around the map. Ramses is going to need to rotate. You know, right after this first turtle, if they can secure it, they need to hit hard.
And Arlott with the focusing of Assassin, trying to maybe single out the export, is it export? There's no Arlott here, so a little bit of a image.
This is last
Why
game.
are they using
this is the last game. What's interesting is that we got Tempest in the jungle this time around, and Ramsey on the side lane. Take a look at some of these spells. I do think the Purify might be a little bit overkill, especially when Guinevere is going to be the only one that's available. So I do think BloodHounds have the ability to capitalize on the amount of Purifies that NightHorde has, because they can't purify the Kaja, right? So a Flicker Conceal is almost guaranteed to hit onto that Bruno, but maybe they're just betting on the counter engagement and the sustain of the Purifies and the Ube strategy that NightHorde has set up in the draft.
Tempest.
Now look at Tempest's positioning here. He is alone right now. Needs to be careful. Uga Buga does not have level 4 just yet. Tempest able to dash away. Out comes the last Insanity. Nico using it more as a zoning mechanism. Ramsey looking for an angle as well, but oh my foe able to get it. Paired up with a Daytona's Welcome. That's a kill and a turtle over to the side of NightHorde.
There's a clean turtle coming out from NightHorde, but it feels like Uga Buga was a little bit just not letting go of that objective. The retribution is not available there, so I don't think Uga Buga had to die. It's a buy one get one free show for NightHorde so far. 1 kill and a turtle on the board, pushing them almost at a 1k lead. Trex.
I mean, and Ramses is doing a good job in the XP, zoning out Nikoko right now. So well played by him overall, but still, we need to see. I think what's going to be crucial for BloodHounds, I said it once, I'm going to say it again, is him getting involved, him rotating around the map, not kind of hanging out in the XP lane too much, maybe clearing wave and looking for plays elsewhere.
Yeah, and they
It's a
definitely have
backup
to look
punch.
for some plays. You could already see Uga Buga positioning himself onto the top side. Now, do I think that a flicker grab is going to be able to kill R by himself? I don't think so, especially in this early game situation. But as time goes back, as time scales into that late
They
game, I
should kill
think
this
Bloodhounds
Bruno.
have a significant advantage,
Lilian
especially with the
nakaka on the
Kaja
bot
and
lane.
Carry paired up together.
A lot of possibilities. Looks like all 4 members of Bloodhounds up in the top side here.
Yep.
Deciding not to go for a play just yet. Momo's on
Ayaw.
them as
Di pa
well.
kagad
Still
inulti
kind of a
yan.
slow game. It's 1-0, but NACT do have a nice lead. A big knock-up on a Momo, and they get the kill. Tempest able to just get away here. Oh my foe looking for a target. Not able to lock on to Uga Buga. Uga Buga will be able to get away just in time.
Takas pa si Uga Buga.
Yeah, but we did get to see the Purify coming out to play a little bit. Even with the grab coming out from Kaja, the Purify was still able to negate the knockup coming out from Guinevere. So this Gwen, if he chooses to build tank, I think that's going to be the best advantage that Bloodhounds can get. Use that tank ability to knock up players and just get a lot of that Purify off the board. Now Ramsey did pop the flicker, so one utility wasted before the objective comes up. NightHorde has done super well in terms of the objective focus, but
Nice one.
Double knockup from Tempest. Does not
Yeah.
use the Violent Requiem
Oh.
though. Ramsey also looking for the engage. Turtle
Go,
getting
Queen.
low. Will go over to Oh My Foe, and now he's going to move on to Ramsey. Boca Roscoe trying to get a little bit of poke, but Ramsey should fall here. Nikoko able to get the kill. Tempest
Guinevere
out of that
can't
spot as
even-
well. Getting followed by Nikoko. Nikoko pops Violent Requiem, but
Oh,
it's
you're
not going to
dead.
be enough. Sayori able to get the
Guinevere
kill.
can't even
And
ult.
I'm starting to
Or
see a
can't
pattern
even-
here for the side of
even
Bloodhounds.
position,
Even when they
himself.
aren't able to get a very clear 50-50, they're still kind of forcing their members to try and get the objectives, which I do think that's going to kind of hurt them in the long run, right? They've dropped kills along with objectives already on the last 2 neutrals, and if they continue this up, I can see that
Dapat dito
when the
ginagank
board
na
does
nila
come
eh.
up, they're going to be losing members left and right, and NightHorde here in a great position.
Yeah, Tempest in trouble once again. NightHorde
Uga Buga.
giving Bloodhounds the treatment right now. Not giving him any
Yung
space to
makapwesto man
breathe.
lang
A
yung
nice stun
Guinevere.
on the sleeves. Boca Roscoe trying to poke with the meteors, but the damage isn't there yet. Bloodhounds denied of their own jungle.
Yeah, and NightHorde is still holding strong to a lot of the utilities that they have. The Purifies, all 3 are available. And that's going to smell a lot of trouble for the Guinevere, but I do think the rest of the team of Bloodhounds have to try and keep it up, right? They have to try and pop the Purifies before it gets used, but it's quite hard as NightHorde is forcing the objectives down the throat of the side of Bloodhounds.
And I mean, the poke just doesn't matter from Boca Roscoe right now, right? Because they get the heal. Ooh, holy baptism. Uga Buga goes down. Looking for the matchup here. Sleeps in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
They're going to go under the tower. Momo takes a tower shot, trades it off with R, and Sleep should be able to go back to base safely. But down the
Lakas
bottom
din
side, a
maglaro
little bit
yung
of action
Sayori,
onto Ramsey. Oh My Foe decides to back off.
Yeah, it's a good disengagement. I don't think NightHorde has
Sayori,
to
Nicolette.
fight off more than they could shoot. It's a
1v1.
5-1 lead, 4K gold lead for the side of NightHordes. The Dragons have come and has been birthed into this game, and they're definitely leading with a lot of these objectives and small fights.
I mean, it's definitely a tough game for Bloodhounds. Already a 4,000k gold deficit, and this is the exact. Oh, wait a second! Nice suppression, nice grab. They're able to get the kill onto Sayori. No black shoes for her. Oh My Foe takes a turtle, gets to the Tono's welcome, lands it down. Uga Buga takes a lot of damage, tries to dash away, but Nikoko is on the trail. The last insanity gets the kill, and now a clash in the mid side. Violent Requiem locks on Oh My Foe, but he still stands tall. Finally falls, but takes Ramsey with him. It's a bloodbath right now. Tempest falls next, sleeps as well. Nothing but Boca Roscoe left. It's a 3-for-4 trade into the hands of NightHorde.
And I thought for a second that Bloodhounds have learned their lesson. They were able to grab up a member of NightHorde before the objective goes down, giving them a 1-0. Of course, losing the objective, but they were winning in that team fight. But they ended up losing 4 members for a trade for 3. NightHorde's in the lead now with all the neutral objectives and the towers, pushing them at a 5k gold lead early on, 7 minutes in.
NightHorde feeling good right now, man. They're just able to withstand this as much as they want. Uga Buga doesn't go. He doesn't have the flicker, so he can't do anything too crazy here. Bloodhound's just trying to defend and staunch the bleeding.
And it's just really hard for the side of BloodHounds, especially without the front line tank, right? The Kaja with the Divine Judgment is quite good paired up with the carry, but they just don't have that front line sustain ability to kind of just zone out members away. But the knockup coming through, but no engage on Nikoko. The Raga armor is just a little bit too good, but Ooga Booga.
Yeah, I mean, it's another target that Tempest can't even
I
go
told
for,
you
'cause
guys.
even if you get the Violent Requiem, the Frog Armor just lets you bounce away
They should-
after, right? So,
It could
Bloodhounds, it's
it
a
could
lot
been
of
better
tough
if
angles.
they picked
It's a
Tiggy.
lot of things to think about every time they engage
Tiggy
and
is
who
a
they
better
go
pick
for.
than Kaja.
And if they don't get the perfect setup, like the perfect targets, pretty much the fight has to not happen for them.
And it's hard because Boca is on the backside trying to snipe a lot of the members from NightHorde, but it doesn't seem like the impact is there yet. The side of BloodHounds just lacking in terms of that significant front line, and they're just struggling, right? Boca is unable to get a few snipes that he's looking for this whole entire game. He is still 0-0-3. The members of NightHorde still cannot touch the Novaria, but if the impact is not there, the damage is not available, and BloodHound is just losing on a lot of these fights, it's gonna smell a lot of trouble and it's gonna be quite tough here.
Yeah, Templates needs a big steal here. The knockup does land down. NightHorde have taken control of the top side of the pit. Ooga Booga flickers in, gets suppression on an Okoko. Bokaros going to pop out onto that Fraga Armor, but oh my foe, gonna get caught up here. Violent Requiem tossed up, knocked up, and taken out. Tempest able to bounce back. NightHorde still controlling the pit, but Bloodhounds might need to try to make a play here. They have some time, no retreat on the field for NightHorde.
And it's quite interesting that BloodHounds actually looked like they were going to lose that fight, especially when Ooga Booga did get poked out. But the response coming through with the Violent Requiem sets up the Barats perfectly for that carry to free hit. And BloodHounds, with a little bit of hope, does take out the jungler in that fight, stopping the neutral objective for being taken. But how long do they have to clock the Barats? Coming back into play, 10 minutes in, the gold lead is still significant for the side of NightHorde to play with.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, NightHorde's like, fine, we don't even need a retreat. We're going to go for this. Oh, my foe does finally get in here. Templess able to get the knockup.
Guys, look at the macro.
Is not able to pressure out the Purify, though. And that's what Templess keeps looking for. He's like, maybe I can get him to use the Purify. But as long as all those three members have it, there's nothing he can really do, man. And this is the problem. Like, everything that BloodHounds brought, NightHorde just denied. And Ramsey able to finally pick up a kill. And hopefully Ramsey can maybe be the saving grace here.
Oh,
Yeah,
ulti.
does land.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
It's
my
an
foe
ambush, guys.
taking a lot of damage.
Down.
Does finally go
It's
down.
time, guys.
Sleep's
It's
able to
time.
get the kill. The shred from the Speedy Light Wheel just a little bit too much.
Oh,
Lord also
it's
going to get
time.
Ramsey with the re-engage.
What the
And
fuck?
NightHorde
That's
finally
damage.
pushed back a bit.
Yeah, NightHorde finally seemingly losing a little bit of the small fights here and there. The hope coming back to the side of BloodHounds, able to get a small pick.
Why are they
especially
grouping in
going
the
up
mid?
against the Barats, right? The Barats doesn't have too much mobility paired up against the Divine Judgment and the Speedy Light Wheels. It's a complete burst for the side of BloodHounds, and now it seems like BloodHounds have the map available. And talking about their spells, we talked about the Purifies not being popped. I think that's actually fine for the side of BloodHounds. I think they have to abuse that they don't have that much CC and use that flicker to get onto the action here.
Put damage onto Sleeps there. Suppression does lock on, and Sayori goes down once again. 1, 3, and 4. When BloodHounds do find their targets, they lock on well. And oh my phone, Sayori are definitely taking the brunt of all of this damage.
Yeah, and I think that's a good strategy. You can tell that the Purify has not been popped on the last 2 deaths of the Sayori. That's why I say abusing the fact that 3 of the members on the side of NightHorde have that Purify and just letting the pack just go wild, right? You're not able to purify the pack. You could flicker and run away, but the Purify is just gonna not do too much against the Paquito burst. And we can see it already in the showing. The gold lead has closed back to a 3K, and BloodHounds right now with a little bit of momentum. Ooga Booga camping on the eye bush, but I don't think there's damage for them to burst any of the members of NightHorde.
Yeah, we're starting to see the problem with the Rafaela, right? Because the only real front line, yes, they have Nikoko, but then it's also Oh My Foe. And anytime Oh My Foe goes in and holds down the front, he's getting knocked up, hit by the Violent Requiem, and then Sleeps is shredding him down. So NightHorde kind of have to recalculate a bit how they engage these fights. They need, I think, if Oh My Foe is going to be holding down the front side, the rest of the team needs to be close by. So that if Tempest does come in, they can maybe kill Tempest before BloodHounds kills Oh My Foe.
And Boca is starting to show that there's really no counter to the Novaria so far, but coming in.
Ooh, suppression does come on to Sayori, but the black shoes pop just in time. Ooga Booga, now the target under NightHorde. But they're unable to succeed, unable to move forward, and NightHorde is just blunted back. It's like the stiff arm in a game of football, man. Every time they try to advance, the meteors come from Boca Roscoe, and the rest comes from, oh, wait a second, a little bit of damage on Nikoko. The frag armor is popped. Ramsey makes a couple shots to the face from R. Dashes in, looking for the last one, but unable to connect. Another meteor strikes back, and Ooga Booga finally goes down. But a big knock-up on all four members from the Lord Tempest, able to get a nice spot into the midst of this Lord's Pit, and it's a 50-50, and Boca Roscoe takes it, but Ramsey should go down for this one, make it Tempest as well, and Boca Roscoe is the only one left standing.
Oh shit.
It's a 4 members for the Lord for the side of BloodHounds. It's a good thing that they did take that Lord, but NightHorde has 5 of the members standing, and I don't think the Novaria has the ability to be able to defend against this.
Oh my lord, that's a lot of damage from R. 5-0-2 on a Bruno.
10 seconds.
What are you doing, Borosco?
Gone along with the base. NightHorde take the game.
Kaya pang
A
depensa yun, ba't
14-minute
gumanon?
game performance coming out from NightHorde, taking the victory 14-8. And of course, the side of NightHorde pretty much took this game quite convincingly against the veteran players of BloodHounds. 14-8 and 37 is going to be the overall scoreboard. Some high assists coming across the team. And once again, I just did not feel like the Novaria was having enough time to scale, or the front line of the side of BloodHounds just did not hold up for Novaria to get those snipes in.
Yeah, very well played by NightHorde, even in the moments where maybe there was a chance for BloodHounds to come back. NightHorde keeps it together, they keep it composed, and they continue to get those objectives. They continue to get the wins, and even when they finally lost that one objective, BloodHounds risked a little bit too much, lost too much, and NightHorde cleans up the game before the Lord even comes out.
Yeah, and the Brats has still been a significantly strong showing. The Raphael honestly has done significantly well there too, especially paired up against the Novaria, right? The second skill should be able to kind of purify a lot of the slow mobility that Novaria is producing. And the Raphael, I honestly feel like it was a great counter there.
Just like the stream, guys.
It's not been a traditional roam, but to be able to see it back in play, especially paired up with a great front line, has proven to be extremely difficult for any teams to handle.
Yeah, I mean,
Tiglil is a better pick than Kaja.
I'm wondering if that's going to become a thing that we see a lot, right? Like we saw it from BTK earlier, the same type of composition. Now we're seeing it from NightHorde. It's definitely something that is slowly kind of leaking into the NACT meta. And how common is this going to be? I'm kind of excited for it because it's a composition that we haven't really seen in a while. Like that support, you know, Rafaela, yeah, the Ube, man. You know, to not keep on reusing the same words, but yeah, the Ube strat is back in action in NACT.
Yeah, and you know, the side of NightHorde is definitely using that to their advantage. I do think Barats is going to be the key element here, doing a lot of damage and having a lot of that sustainability, and paired up with the
Blacklist
on the ultimate, giving him that dash has proven to be quite a good change for the little dinosaur. But I do think we have a few replays coming up, Trex, so potentially we're going to see that last exciting game in action once again.
Yeah, definitely a couple spicy replays coming in. I'm excited to see how exactly they did it. NightHorde feeling very strong. We're about 7 minutes in right here, and this is where we saw some of the possibilities from the side of BloodHounds. But even though they were able to get pickoffs here and there, they weren't able to get the objective. And then when they did finally get objectives, they weren't able to stay alive.
Oh, shit.
So definitely something lacking.
See?
Definitely something lacking here.
Export.
You can see Foe getting shut off.
So
And this
good
is
at
where
poking.
Bloodhounds, I felt like they got a very good pick off on the objective, right? For the first time in the last 3 turtles, they were losing out members for the neutral objective. But this time around, they had a good team
Sporg
fight.
is so
And
good
now
at
the
poking,
Lord is
guys.
coming up. I also thought that this was a good fight for Bloodhounds, but it just feels like the sustain and the Raphael just slowing and healing the members. Just too much sustain for the side of Bloodhounds. They end up losing 4 of the members in this team fight. They did get the Lord, but the game was lost in the hands of NACT.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the big problems towards the end there was, you know, you mentioned that they couldn't find Bocarasco, but also Bloodhounds could not get to R. He just had this wall around him of strong heroes. He had the heal and the movement speed coming from Momo. It was a problem, and once he got to 4-0, 5-0, was really scaling. I mean, he's probably one of the biggest crit heroes, one of the highest, this like burst damage marksmen there are. Being able to like 2-shot just about anybody, and it became a major problem.
Yeah, and I do think maybe potentially switching up the matchup could have been a little bit better, like putting the pack up early against the Bruno that only has the Purify,
Maybe,
right? Putting him up there, so potentially he has the kill pressure against the Bruno. But this time around, the Bruno was able to prevail, got the crits that he needs to be able to just dominate any of the front lines that Bloodhounds really did not have, right? When you set up the mages for the long-range mages like the Navaria or even the Lilia, you want to have people in the front to sustain the damage, to hold the people in place. But the only thing that Bloodhounds had was the Kaja. The pack was a damage Paquito. The Guinevere had 3 Purifies waiting for him just for the knockup. Right, so it was really extremely hard for any of the members of Bloodhounds to sustain the front line, for Boca Roscoe to be able to cycle through his spells and deal the damage that was necessary.
Because they don't
for
have
them to
enough
be able to win
crowd
any of those team
control.
fights.
If
I like
they
it. So now
pick
coming into game
Tigreal,
2, you know, NACT looking for the sweep, Bloodhounds trying to get the reverse sweep.
They can,
What's the change up here? I think we both agreed that maybe the Kaja pick
they can
would have
fight
been a little better
NACT.
with something along
Toe to
something a
toe.
bit
Utility.
bulkier, something or
Tank.
just something that could maybe get some group CC, you know, an actual tank, right? Not a support tank. Is it the draft? Is it gameplay? Is it a little bit of both? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I definitely feel like the side of Bloodhounds, they lacked their traditional strategy where Boca always plays these late game far ranging mages, right? The Sicilian that he has in his pocket, also the Navaria, setting up a good front line to stop the movements of NACT should be prioritized. For example, the Fredrin in the jungle has that CC, has that built-in Petrify. You can also build in something like the Lapu Lapu or Yu Zong, where there is a knock-up and stun available there. But the pack, along paired up with the Kaja, just did not provide the front line that the side of Bloodhounds was that they were lacking and that they really desperately needed there.
I mean, there was definitely an issue, right? I think when it came to draft. Also, a little bit of I would like to see a bit more movement from Ramses. I think once he did get involved with the Paquito, we could see the difference in some of those team fights. They had the opportunity to maybe come back, but it was just a little bit too late. I think this time I would like to see him be a bit more proactive. We saw from some other EXP laners in previous games, EXP laners like Milo, EXP laners from other teams, you have to be proactive. EXP lane is so important in the meta right now, especially when it comes to first, second turtle, mid game, being able to tip the scales of these fights and instead of making a 3v3, make it a 4v3, you know, things of that nature.
And I also think that the pickup on the Barats was so great for the side of NACT. We've seen the Barats pretty much scale and snowball in majority of these games. I think Barats hasn't really taken a significant loss yet today. I'm not sure about the other days, but the Barats has been such a strong pickup that I do think that the side of Bloodhounds, if they're not able to take it, maybe look to ban out that hero. So far, it just doesn't seem like there is a great counter to that. Even if the carry is being picked up against it, it just does not feel like it's a true counter so far. The Barats just has that mobility to just go around the map, farm up every single creep, and nobody can deal a lot of damage early on. So finding some something that can respond to the Barats, banning it out or prioritizing it in your lineup, I think could be more utility based. I do feel like if they kind of go with the strategy of building up that front line for Boca to scale, they might have a better opportunity this time around. And I also think Uga Booga, right? This time around, he decides to go for the meta pick, but we all know he's been quite renowned for something like the Hylos or the Bellaric. Or even the Khalid can come out to play. So I do think there is an element of strategy where they could surprise the opponents, pick up some of their comfort picks, and try to get this game up and going. Because again, if they do not get a point here, they're going to be bumped down very far down the ladder.
So you want the exact opposite of me, right? Like I keep saying BloodHounds just stick to the strategy, just pick regular, and you're like, nah man, bring in that Uga Booga Khalid, baby, let's run it. And I mean, yes, it's secure the video, and I guess like at game 2 when you're down, when it's match point, yeah, I could get behind that. I could get behind, yeah, let's just go comfort. Let's just pick up something you guys know you feel good on. That way, at least if you lose, you know, you lose on what you like playing. Definitely a possibility. If they do pick things like that, then it still has to mesh well, right? And, you know, if they're going to put Boca Roscoe on a late game scaling mage, someone who needs to get golden, needs to kind of power scale up, they need to pick a composition that works around that. And that's where I think they're they're picking what they like, or they're picking what's good, or they're picking just counters, but I feel like they're not thinking about their own composition as a whole, right? About what is needed to make sure this hero shines, what is needed here to make sure this hero is able to complete its job. So I think they're definitely, and that's kind of always been the problem with BloodHounds, right? It's kind of always been the issue. They're a great team. They have the mechanics. They have the skill to get to top 8, but these are the small things that they need to tighten up if they want to be a top 4, top 3. And NightHorde seems to be a little ahead this year. They have this new roster, and the roster's playing well, man. From micro mechanics to draft to macro, they're doing everything that needs to be done. Now, this is a flash from the past right here. We got the real deal draft screen coming in, and I miss it.
Yeah, the first phase has already gone through. BloodHounds picking up the Faramis, the Tigreal, and also the Claude, going up against the response that NightHorde has. It's going to be the Fredrin, the Arlott, and also the Navaria. So a little bit of a switch up. This time around, Sayori is going to be on that mage, but Boca has been pretty known for the Faramis. But this time, the difference is NightHorde has the CC in the front, right? The Arlott has a lot of stuns and, you know, disabilities to go onto the back line of the side of BloodHounds, and also the Fredrin is going to be very, very hard to deal with. And now paired up with the Minotaur, it's a little bit of an overkill on my perspective. I feel like NightHorde needs a little bit more damage at this point, because if they do end up picking something like a carry or maybe the Bruno, the Navaria still takes time to scale. The marksman is going to take time to, you know, get onto whoever the front line is from the side of BloodHounds. And I think BloodHounds have a much more well-rounded comp this time around, especially when you compare to the game on the last time.
Yeah, definitely very well-rounded from BloodHounds. I have to agree. We kind of jumped right in the middle of the draft, so I'm, you know, getting my grips on everything. They get the Claude this time. They have Shred. They have some answers. They also have the Faramis, which is something we know they've liked to pick before. And they have big set potential. I like this much more. I think even if you're losing with this type of draft, you have opportunity. They have, just like last time, you know, just like we've seen before, they have a lot of their boxes checked. They have late game, they have early, they have mid. They have a lot of possibilities here, but the Minotaur could be the wrench to kind of deal, or the problem to deal with that, Faramis overall. If NightHorde gets too grouped up and that one big Minoan's Fury comes down, it could be a problem.
Oh man, but we get to see the Levi in action here. This is a great skin. I'm super excited for a lot of these skins. And honestly, the Claude, we also got to rework on the Mech Dragon, so it's going to be quite the
A77 is a contender for sure.
Take us into the game 2.
Yeah, we're going to be jumping into the land of Dawn. Nothing fancy here. We're keeping it old school at NACT right now. And I'm excited for NightHorde sitting at match
yesterday
point.
So maybe they have potential.
Looking for the comeback.
What the fuck I'm watching?
Yeah, and you know, we're trying to jump into the map. It seems like we got a small technical difficulties. I do want to talk about the Lapu Lapu that Ramsey is on. I've seen him play this hero quite a bit, and he's been shown to have extreme dominance on that hero. We did see Mikasa yesterday pull out the Lapu Lapu. Huge impact, level 4 on a lot of the objectives. I'm going to be projecting that Mr. Ramsey himself is going to be doing the same thing here in their match point.
All right, here we go. Yue, you take us in this time.
Yeah, so guys, welcome to the Land of Dawn. It is between BloodHounds this time around, up against NightHorde.
Skin, so OP.
Dragons here. BloodHounds looking and finding a way to defend against the new team that NightHorde is.
I love it. I love it, Yue. Felt good, looks good, sounds good.
Here
we go, boys. Let's jump on in. Now, any win cons? I know we both, we got acquainted with the draft real quick. Now that you've had some time, what do you think is important for each team here?
Well, for the side of BloodHounds, I think they have to put a lot of pressure onto the carry, right? The Navaria is going to be pushing the lanes, clearing the waves by himself, and you can see they are even pressuring onto his mid side, not letting her hit the waves. So a little bit of deny early on, and I think they're using that advantage that the Minnow does not have a great early game. Now, the damage dealers of NightHorde is very obvious. The Navaria, which is a little bit hard to catch without a dive, and also the carry. Right, if they can shut down the carry, especially early on, NightHorde is going to be lacking in a lot of damage. You can see the aggressiveness coming out from BloodHounds. They know they have the advantage. They know they have the clear, and they're able to kind of shove the side of NightHorde away from their minions so early on in this match.
I mean, BloodHounds with the ability to kind of zone and control river, they're going to have the advantage in some of this laning phase, and that is something that NightHorde had last game. And this time, if BloodHounds can kind of scale and get this early game under their control, they do have some big snowball possibilities. If Tempest can get a kill early on, if Ooga Booga hits this level 4 quickly and they make a big turner, maybe not. Ooga Booga in a little bit of trouble, forced back, and that's going to be one member down for this turtle fight.
Yeah, and Ooga Booga is a little bit greedy on that clear. He decided to use his second skill paired with his first to get that wave clear. But top side, Boca is able to pick up the first blood for the side of BloodHounds. A little bit of a comeback in terms of the momentum, but is Tempest going to be in position for this 50-50?
I mean, now he is, and not only that, they're up a member. Oh my foe still able to secure it though. Tempest gonna maybe look for something here. Momo in a little bit of trouble. Boca looking for the drag back. The Shadow Stampede, but Tempest isn't there to capitalize. A nice stun on three members, but still not enough damage. A big final slash. Now BloodHounds in trouble. Ramses takes out Momo, but Ramses may fall, gets the bravest fighter. The stun on Oh my foe, but Oh my foe picks up the kill. It's a 2-for-1 into the hands of NightHorde.
Yeah, but the gold lead is still quite close. 2 for 2, 3 minutes in. Both could be anyone's game so far. BloodHounds, though, they do have a much better opening this time around compared to the last. It feels like they have a little bit more control in a lot of these team fights. They're able to get that pick off that we were kind of emphasizing in the game 1, right? They were getting picked off after objectives on each of the turtle, but this time around they're the ones that get that pick off. Now the gold lead is quite close, and Mr. Bossy on the top side with the Lapu taking care of business, getting that advantage all the way on the top side of the map.
Yeah, Ramses Bossy. The Lapu is definitely a signature pick for him. He's comfortable on it. He's feeling good on it, and we're seeing exactly why. Nikoko on the R-Lot is just getting bullied right now. Up in the top side, you can see Ramses on the minimap cutting lane, just keeping Nikoko back. You see no minions under that tower.
Yeah, but I do think that the side of NightHorde have a great CC comp for a lot of the big team fights, right? They got 3 of the biggest frontliners. They got the R-Lot, the Fredrin, and also the Minone. So that's going to be quite a bit of CC for the side of NightHorde to kind of deal with. But the counter engagement for Ooga Booga, especially early on, has been quite good. He got a 3-man implosion early on, and I could expect the same thing going once again. He has the flicker available. Members are closing in onto the mid side.
Ooh, a lot of damage on it. Oh, snipe shot, locked and loaded. Sayori picking up the kill. You know, last time Sayori was on the Lilia, and I felt like
Lilia.
was maybe a little bit too aggressive, kept kind of jumping in and not able to pop the black shoes in time. This time, a long-range mage may be the perfect choice for her. Turtle getting chipped down. Oh my foe, looking for the angle. Can you get the steal once again? Tempest able to get it this time. But a little bit of damage does come down. Ooga Booga with the flicker and push back on to Nikoko, but wait, BloodHounds still falling. Nikoko with the vengeance, picking up Tempest. Ooga Booga goes down. Oh my foe finds Ramses as well. And NightHorde find the swing, find the tempo. Nikoko with the vengeance under the tower. Does not have the final slash right now. Sayori maybe looking for a snipe shot here. Does not land onto Bokarosco, but it's 6-4 now, and NightHorde take the lead.
Yeah, it's a small bloodbath coming out from both teams. NightHorde able to take that little fight. 3-4-1 there. Momo is going to be the only one that falls. So BloodHounds actually kind of going behind now in terms of some of these skirmishes themselves. I do think that Boka has to be in a better position, right? He popped the cold altar a little bit early. The knockup comes through from Momo, and the side of NightHorde is just able to capitalize on that. And also the implosion only hitting onto Momo with the rotations coming down from that R-lot was just a little bit too much to handle for the side of BloodHounds.
And I think the big turnaround there is Momo hitting that that flicker Minoan's Fury. And there's the difference. There's the importance, because he was able to get 3 members. Ooga Booga only catches 1. And those are the moments that change a game.
Yeah, but now for the side of BloodHounds, it seems like they still have an advantage across the map here. Foe looking to see if he could bite off a little bit, but I don't think the side of NightHorde is going to choose to fully engage on
NightHorde finished the game
It seems
already.
like BloodHounds, they still have the map in their favor, and they're just using Bossy as kind of like the frontline lead. Wherever Bossy goes, they're going to try to get the win off of that map, and the top side tower now has fallen for the side of NightHorde. Even though NightHorde seems like they're winning in some of these small skirmishes, Bossy has been proven to be a very, very hard problem, and I don't know if they have the response to deal with Sir Bossy here.
Ooh, and Sayori also starting to pack a big punch with those meteors. And Sayori's always connecting onto the members that matter. Either targeting out. Wait a second. Lapu with the bravest fighter, forces to get away, but no, finally a nice 2-man stun, but the Minoan's Fury able to delay them just enough time. Oh my foe finds Tempest, and Ramses now on the run as well. Sleeps, looking for a target though, trying to look on the Momo here. Ramses has fallen. It's 3 members down for BloodHounds. Make it for a Maniac for oh my foe. 7-0-2.
Yeah, man. Oh my foe has been playing an incredible game in this series, taking 4 kills right there. The side of BloodHounds just doesn't feel like their fights are working out in their favor. Boka here, how to get taken off the board here.
Look at the damage onto Boka. Boka, goodbye.
Holy shit.
Another kill for Sayori. A turtle, a tower, a maniac.
Sayori is good.
NightHorde, 4,000 gold ahead.
Yeah, a little small Cupid showing for Sayori, getting the snipes that is necessary for NightHorde to prevail in this matchup. 12-4 is going to be the overall scoreboard. The lead now back into NightHorde's favor. A 4K lead now, 8 minutes in. That is going to be quite significant. Paired up with the real estate that NightHorde has now, the top and the mid has fallen, and that's going to be quite huge for the side of NightHorde. It opens up a lot of the map, and when you talk about the open map, the river has been completely dominated by the side of NightHorde now.
All right, so where do we go from here, right? I mean, BloodHounds, I think the big redemption, what's better this game than last game, is they still have set potential, right? They decided not to go for, you know,
they have a set
one-hero
potential.
pick-off Rome.
Unlike,
they still have something, but it falls a lot onto Ooga Booga, it falls a lot onto Ramses, and it falls a lot onto Sleeps, who might be able to get a kill here onto Nikoko. Nikoko, though, with the outplay, Vengeance back and forth, but oh my foe comes in and picks up Sleeps. Now they're going to move on to the next, possibly. BloodHounds, they're looking for moments of greatness, but can't seem to find them.
Yeah, and I think the best case scenario for the BloodHounds is for the Martis and potentially the Cold Altar of the Faramis to kind of tank up and soak up a lot of the utilities and stuns coming out from the side of NightHorde. And right here comes through.
Big flicker from Amoy there. Nice pick. Out comes the Nether Realm. helps them survive just enough, but Oh My Foe holding down the front side are there as well. This should be a purple buff over the side of Oh My Foe, but Tempest wants to fight for it. He wants to go for his own land, and he tries to get it, but it's taken from his fingers once again.
Big bonk.
Boom. Look, oh, Ooga Booga gone, and the rest of Bloodhounds are falling down. Tempest looking for the play, but unable to get the decimation in time, and the unload from R finds Sleeps. Bloodhounds, 2 members left. Ramses is gonna fall. Oh, gets away with just a sliver of health. The NightHorde have gotten what they came for. Let's move on to the Lord.
That's a 3-for-0 trade for the side of NightHorde. Again, dominating a lot of these small skirmishes. The front line of NightHorde is just way too tanky for that Lapu to do too much at this point, right? He had that advantage early on, but unfortunately unable to capitalize too much. And even look at this. Foe is just soaking up all the CC coming out from the side of Bloodhounds. They don't really have a choice in order to win any of these team fights at this point. I do think they need to scale a little bit back, play a little bit slower, let Sleeps grab up even more gold, right? They need Sleeps to deal a lot of the damage, especially picking off the carry and the Novaria, but they are so well protected. 2, 0, and 10, 1, 0, and 7. They're playing a supporting cast, but honestly, the side of Bloodhounds is just not able to hold up the front line that NightHorde has.
Take a look at the replay real quick. I mean, overall, we're seeing R really start to scale here, right? We're seeing the threat of him. And Oh My Foe, I mean, what's going on from last game with BTK to this game? These utility jungles are packing a punch. I mean, this guy is 10, 0, and 4 right now. Nikoko able to take a tower, but the Lord's still coming soon. Ramses down. It's going to be a problem. Sleeps able to chip down at the Lord. Momoy looking for a possible another big flicker. Minoan's Fury could just seal the deal here.
Yeah, and I do think he has the spells available. NightHorde looking to clash onto this mid tower. I don't know if it's going to be disciplined, but they do not want to lose any of the members that they have. But the engagement.
Coco flickers in, looks for the final slash. Big by Ooga Booga, able to get them all under the tower. The Minoan's Fury gets the knock up onto Tempest, and R finds the kill. A big stun though on the top side on into Coco. Sleeps able to pick up the kill as well. It's 1 for 1. NightHorde still unable to break through the inhibitors just yet.
Yeah, and it's really hard for them to even get a hit onto Sayori, right? They don't have the dive necessary to get onto the backside. Maybe the Claude, especially with a good blazing duet, can hit Sayori, but that's honestly, if that does happen, Sayori is going to be out of position. But the front line of NightHorde is just too much to deal with. Look at R here.
R finds the angles time after time, but he's pushed under the tower. Gets brought low. Bokarasco taken out off cam. NightHorde looking to keep pushing in. They take the middle inhibitor. Back off. Wait for the next wave of minions. Ramses also kind of keeping the flank. NightHorde finally decides to back off.
Yeah, NightHorde backing off, I think, is going to be the best decision that they can. I don't think they need to really push onto Bloodhounds' base right now. They could take the objectives and play it slow. It feels like they have that late game potential, and especially with the carry and the Novaria. If the side of Bloodhounds cannot shut them down, especially in the early game where the damage is not as crazy, now that we're going into this 13-minute match, and especially with the gold lead of a 10K from the side of NightHorde, it's going to be really hard to get onto the backside. The front members are just too tanky on the backside. They're just shredding so hard whoever's coming into play from the side of Bloodhounds.
All right, so once again, 10K
what are we
deficit
going
for
on
Bloodhounds. I mean, where do we go from here? It feels like NightHorde just has them figured out. I think if this game, if Bloodhounds can maybe survive this Lord, maybe one more Lord, or they win another big team fight and kind of lower the gold lead, they have some opportunity, but Momoy not going to let it happen. The Minoan's Fury unable to connect, though, but does zone away, does do the job.
Sayori.
Look at the damage, and Sayori in trouble. Blazing Duet comes in, followed up with the Nether Realm. But Oh My Foe doesn't care, he's defying the odds. R takes out Ooga Booga. R moving on to sleep. R looking for the kills. Bokarasco is helpless against him. Ramses also there, but Oh My Foe still sitting at the Lord, ready to take him down.
Yeah, the gold lead is just a little bit too much for the side of Bloodhounds to handle at this point. Kill 20 to 5, 14 minutes. You can see the impact that Momo has in this game already. That was a two-man set that pretty much forced the jungler and pretty much everyone from the side of Bloodhounds to retreat, grabbing up a few kills here and there. Again, the impact that NightHorde has right now, especially on this minnow, is just too difficult for even Uga Buga to handle himself. And BloodHounds now caught in a pretty bad situation. They have to figure out how to get onto the backside. And I think that last fight where Sayori was caught off a little bit was their best moment. But even then, the Momo and also Foe was able to peel off the Claude on the Blazing Duet, and that's going to be
What's that?
for any of them to come back.
Implosion does
Holy
land, able to push two
shit,
members back
NightHorde.
in, but wait a second, no one's
no.
to counter back. Members are
Sorry
knocked
guys, I
up,
went to
and
CR.
chaos has unveiled
I went
the
to the
crystal.
bathroom, guys, sorry.
2 members down for BloodHounds, 1 down for NightHorde. They find another. Bocarasco's next, and
Oh,
Templess
shit.
is alone. The
GG.
NightHorde should take this game 2-0.
NightHorde, guys.
Woo! NightHorde, the Dragons
doing it.
have been able to take victorious in this series, just like you're saying. 2-0 is going to be the score. They're not giving BloodHounds any points in this series. 24-6 is the overall scoreboard. 15-minute games for the Dragons here, and you can take a look at all the happy
Gaimin
smiling
Gladiators
faces
now.
of NightHorde in this series, and Nikoko with the debut in this matchup here played really well. The Arlott had so much impact in this game, and also the Xborg was proven quite difficult for the side of BloodHounds to even handle.
That is definitely
Gaimin
a problem.
Gladiators.
I mean, just overall, NightHorde, I think from draft to gameplay, they knew what their composition was, and they were able to execute it very well. But I got to give it up to Oh My Foe, man. I think he went that whole game deathless, finished around maybe 11-0 and something. I mean, just an overall monster. And even Sayori had kind of a rough game in game number 1, even though they won. But that game knew exactly what she needed to do and just was hitting those meteors like snipers.
Man, I think the draft from NightHorde is actually quite good. The 3 front lines that they had was just really difficult for BloodHounds to even try and penetrate and get a kill here and there. And when they do get the kill, it's like on Momo, right? Like they don't get the shutdown from Foe, which has played a perfect game in the last 2 games. And it's just really hard for the side of BloodHounds to get onto the backside of NightHorde. And
Actually,
this 2-0 victory is going to be a lot for the side of NightHorde. They not only grab
really
both of the
good,
points,
guys.
or grab all 3 of the
Imagine,
points in this series,
game 1.
they completely push BloodHounds
Xborg
onto the
and
bottom
Barats.
side where LEGACi is also sleeping.
Lilia.
But handsome, the guy of the hour, Mr. Zeke, is back
Imagine
in
that.
business.
We're not very good at that.
What is that?
Anyways, whatever. I don't know.
We missed it, guys.
Yeah,
just
we
like
missed.
that. Fired.
Big miss.
Never again. I'll tell you what, guys, man. Honestly, I expected the games to be a little bit closer. Is it just me? I felt like those games were like really high paced, and like that second game, the BloodHounds, they were super at the NightHorde's throat for like that entire first part of the game. But then they lost like 1 team fight, and it just scaled from there.
Yeah, they were super close the first 30 seconds. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I think NightHorde honestly was just they were monsters there. They kind of showed that right now in current season, they are a step ahead of BloodHounds. They came out of the stage 3 qualifiers in 4th place ahead of BloodHounds, and they're showing them exactly why.
And also, BloodHounds do not have their full complete roster. I don't think that is an excuse, but Easy Peasy in the jungle is quite strong, especially with the last few NACT performance this time around. I do hope that they're able to bring back Easy Peasy in the jungle. Templess played a decent game here, right? He had to face up against 3 Purifies on a Guinevere, and this time around it was very hard for him to make an impact, especially going up against the Fredgen. But I do think next time around, BloodHounds, they definitely have the ability to get the games off of NightHorde again.
Absolutely. I think even with everything, you know, in those games ending up favoring the NightHorde, BloodHounds at no point did they seem like they were just
You're
out of the
right,
game. Like, it
Rion,
didn't feel like they were just laying
BTK
down.
already won earlier.
There was a couple times where I really thought that they were going to be able to take it back, and sadly they didn't make it happen this time. But there is always next time, just maybe not in the NACT regular season.
I think the most important thing to talk about here is how me and Yue just took the lead in our predictions 6-1, baby.
My
We're looking
prediction.
good. We're feeling good.
Trex,
We're feeling
no,
good.
Trex is looking good. I think I
Oh, you
voted
didn't-
for.
Oh, you didn't vote?
I
Blood?
voted for the opposite.
Ooh, I take the lead.
So-
This is a first season for me.
Yeah, I
the
think I'm
prediction-
5-2.
I'm 5-2 here, Zeke, too. So we're both on the same boat. But 5 for 2 is a lot better than 2 for 5, that was where I was last season.
Guess the wrong
I think
team
you ended
every
at like
time.
3
BTK
and
will
30
lose
or
because of
something.
MOBA. No,
I think I won the.
BTK
I
already
think I won a
won.
few of the predictions in the grand finals, but it was tough. It was tough.
They
season.
already won earlier.
I'm trying to have my my
2-0.
guess rate look
They,
as good as
sweep-
all my foes
they sweep-
kill
they
death
swept
ratio in that last game.
LEGACi.
He was like, I think it was like 10-1-7 when it came out. Might have been just a little bit higher than that. Absolutely exceptional gameplay. And you know,
Did you
it's
watch
something that I had
the
said
game?
before the game
Yeah,
started?
man.
You know, I wonder if they were going to lean on him a little bit more to lead into that. And it felt like they did.
I definitely did. I'm pretty sure we're going to be taking a look at the MVP now. And it's going to be not very unexpected. Oh, my foe, 10,
Oh, my foe.
1, and 7.
Yeah, with a great game here, but I honestly think that NightHorde, all their members played quite well in every single one of these fights. And you can see Foe, they're getting like a 3-man bonk, and he's been doing that multiple times in this series. But the NightHorde supporting cast with Momo on that tank, and also, you know, Nikoko playing this supporting cast on the bot side, grabs this outplay for their team. The side of NightHorde is really showing a strong standing here, contending for that top 4 spot.
Absolutely.
Yes,
And, you know,
BTK
another
won.
hero that I want to, or player, I guess I want to
You're
talk about
supporting
is
BTK,
Momoy. You
bro.
know, on that Minotaur, those sets that he was making when he was popping the Minoan
Are you
Fury
supporting
every
BTK?
time, it was so perfect. He just cleaned the map up of the BloodHounds just so perfectly for his team, and they executed on them so well.
Yeah, I think it's one of those heroes where the flicker ultimate is so crucial, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, the Minoan's Fury is good, but it is that much better when you're able to time it well and make it kind of a surprise. And Momoy has definitely mastered it, showing how well he can perform it, saving the flicker, not losing it, not like misusing it before a big team fight, but always making sure that every Minoan's Fury counts. And that was definitely the game changer for NightHorde.
Yeah, and it seems like NightHorde is building onto a strategy where they're really relying on Sayori and R to do a lot of damage, to be the carries of the team. I know they are playing the damage dealers, but it's very obvious that, you know, the side of NightHorde, they are going to build that front line defense in order for Sayori and R to scale well into these games. And that very last series, especially with the 3 front lines paired up with the carry and Novaria, pretty much explains their comp perfectly. And I think with this type of strategy, they could definitely go pretty deep, because it's a pretty hard, beefy comp to defend against for any of the teams in NACT.
Yeah, absolutely well said. You know, they opened up a lot of these great team fights that allowed them to get their gold up. And speaking of gold up, get ready to get yours up, because we are finding ourselves in another giveaway.
Ooh, I love me a giveaway. Get out that phone, snatch the QR code. Only 30 this time. Last time there was 31. Only 30 this time. First come, first server.
Yeah, the first time, first serve. It's going to be the horror bringer this time around for the Phobius. So guys, make sure to get out your phone, get that QR code, punch in the giveaway, and make sure you can redeem the code, because it is going to be a limited quantity.
So I want to say these giveaways are crazy, dude. Like, some of these different skins that they're giving away, like, I feel so jealous, because I look at my account and I look at some of my skins and I'm like, man, I might be poor. But then I see Mobile Legends giving out some of these awesome skins. And I'm like, maybe I should be over here while I'm hosting, like, just 6 phones laid out. Just
6 accounts, living your best life. You know, that was for the Phobius skin, right? That was Horrorbringer,
Yep.
Phobius. You know, I was really excited that we got to see, like, in some of the past big tournaments, we got to see some Phobius, because the Nolan pick was so popular and it was a decent
Next match.
And now Phobius is gone.
Next match is Gaimin Gladiators.
I'm just wondering, like, is there
versus
a space for him to
A77.
come back? You know, what heroes might
Yes,
we see him get
BTK
picked
fan
on?
here.
Because I think
Like or
he's
hate
just like the
MOBAs in
whole,
his
I
team
don't know,
always
just
does well in
entertaining hero to
NACT.
watch the
Towards his
dunks,
third place,
the
which is
slam
really
dunks on
good already,
everybody.
considering how many teams
I'm hoping that some other
competing in
hero
it.
comes
Yes,
into
of
the
course.
meta that Phobius will be viable as the counter again.
I like to call it the Goomba hops, or the Goomba hops.
I think-
he's just able to.
I think
just sit
BTK
through, and,
lineup is,
Phoveus is a quite unique hero for me in a lot of situations. Back then, it was just
They just,
specific
need-
counters and matchups, and when he was able to get the
they
counters,
just,
he was
needs,
getting a lot
chemistry
of good matchups.
or
It's a very hard
synergy.
hero to balance.
Yesterday's
out, but once
yesterday's
again,
match
now that
against
Phoveus has been
A77, I
shelved
think.
out, we are definitely missing. So
It's
Moontu,
just a first day.
make Trex's wishes
hitters.
true. Bring us back to Phoveus.
First day,
Yeah, I feel like as we
Sometimes,
find
new
ourselves
lineup
seeing Phoveus on a break, we
doesn't
have
do
to look
well
at it and say, huh,
on their
maybe it's time
on
for
their
the next
debut
one.
match. So I think BTK will. I think BTK can top this NACT, you know. Considering their new mage, Nicolette, is really good. So, yes, Jay is actually an MPL champion. When he's in Archangel season 3. Archangel season 3 together with Jeff Cutie Forever, Jeff Cutie. I think Jeff Cutie Forever. Wait. But I know season 3 MPL. That's where Jay got his championship.
Wow, another MVP. That's my tip.
Just doing my job.
Can I see the highlights?
I'm off the clock.
Yeah, I can't wait to see your portals in action.
Looks like red team.
Yes, Jeff Cutie Forever, Exort Jay, Ryu, Kiluwash. I know that Kiluwash is an Archangel player also. You know them? Do you know them?
And then? Wow.
Kiluwash is not playing anymore. I don't know why. But I think he can still compete in as an import, you know. Still got the moves. Yes, last game.
Where's Ship going? Is he gonna? He flickers to the high ground. Portal's up. Surprise! Portal gets deleted. Can Red Team make it back?
Last game is
What an
GG.
insane portal strat.
Gaimin Gladiators versus Area 77.
Welcome to All-Star 2024. Hey, superstars.
I think I have some bad postings in Facebook in some teams. What? Oh, you seen I think I have seen some bad posting in Facebook when some teams face Minana. Pre-S13. Oh, really? Kilo was...
Area 77 versus the Gaimin Gladiators, a game that you guys have been waiting for. Two teams still
he's
standing at
starting
the
to
top.
Are you
but
from
only one
BH,
of
bro?
them can be there. So who's gonna drop? Trex?
Yo,
Yeah, I'm
let me
just messing
let me jump in real quick. I just want to show the appreciation of Zeke coming in to host for us, because the element that
blast.
he brings, it's a blessing. Like it's so extreme.
Are you from BH, bro?
He just tones it down and comes through with it, and we're just all kind of goofing around. He kind of just holds us in our place. But Trek's going back to you, man.
I don't even know if he really means to be funny. I think this is his real personality. I think I'm just kidding.
I'm just not smart.
I love
you guys
it.
are
I
faster.
love it. Yes.
It's been a great day. It's been a great day one with you, Zeke. I'm glad you got to cast with us on your very first day here at NACT. It's been a pleasure to have you here.
Oh, you're
on
not a
day one.
BH citizen.
And
So,
through any bumps that we've had, we've been
are
working
you,
through it with smiles and laughs. And
an
I'm glad
Indonesian?
you're here, man. I'm glad you're here.
From US
Yeah, I'm
or
100% for it.
what country?
I know we
bro?
got an exciting match
What
coming up
country?
though, right, Zeke? It's going to be Gaimin Gladiators versus A77. And these are the two teams that have gotten that 2-0.
So what are you
lead.
doing
So
here in
the points
BH?
Are
Are you
on the
moving
table
in?
for both of these guys to take, and who will be victorious in this series?
Yeah, I think that's the question at hand. Everybody wants to see it. You know, we saw some of the games with BTK yesterday, and that's going to bring us to this standpoint where, you know, we thought two teams were going to be at the top, but now we're finding ourselves in a position where, you know, we might have some other unexpected top contenders, some really good teams, maybe even still better than we expected to.
Do you think
Expected them to be. So to find ourselves in this position now to really see who's going to be competing for what, I think
there's
is
a
really
team that
cool.
can beat Bren
Yeah, I mean,
in the
we
championship?
have to be
Or
honest.
do you
right?
think
so
Echo
between so many, I think, fans around the world,
can
GG is
go to the
definitely
grand
the
finals?
fan favorite
What do you
here.
think?
But Area 77, we got to see them take on BTK. Before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's take a look at the GG roster UA.
Ooh, we got Mr. Zia on the gold lane. Shark, the prodigy, the most valuable player, especially in our seasons before, onto the roam, led by Mr. Hoon himself. The ex-Dosu player, the man that has been leading the team onto victory, best player, and also fried chicken. So a lot of all-star players in this Gaimin Gladiator matchup, and I'm all for it.
Fried
Right? This is
chicken.
pretty much the best of North America, in each role paired together with a captain that has led a lot of victories, and I cannot wait for the match to even get started. Jersey.
Very well said, man. Very well said. It's a very strong roster, but on which, let's see the other one.
Trex,
The
go
other
ahead.
one, which will be Area 77. We got ISO, J Cutie, Mar Cutie, Tarzan Cutie, and Ureshi Cutie. The Cutie Gang, all up in here. And I think it's a vibe, man. I think this is a team that a lot of us have to have our eyes on. Mar Cutie, I like to call him Mark Cutie the Magician. The guy was in Gold Lane last season for Area 77. This time he has switched over. We got ISO, we have Jay and Ureshi, both former MPL players. I mean, this is a team that I think is going to catch a lot of us by surprise, and they're a lot more stacked than I think we
Do you know,
think
guys,
they are.
they're calling
They took us by
Tarzan
storm yesterday,
Cutie
taking out BTK, and the next
as
notch on their
Soto.
belt, the next team they have their eyes set on has to be GG.
Yeah, and I don't
They're
think they're
calling
scared
Tarzan
at all
as
when they
guys,
compare the rosters between both teams. I think both of the teams have
Because,
the best
they
players
look alike.
in each role. You know, unfortunately, there can only be one champion, but A77 has proven their worth in a lot of these matches. Even outside tournaments, they've done quite well, and historically has been a team to watch out for. And now, paired up with, you know, pretty much the ability to have coaches and managers, definitely A77 has pushed up their level this time around NACT, and I think
I'm just asking,
A77
bro.
has a very, very
You said
good
that,
chance to push on
you're
to
in
get a
PH
really
right
high
now,
rank and
but
deal a lot
you're
of
not a
damage to
PH
GG,
citizen.
which actually quite
So where
honestly
you from?
last season has been
And
quite undefeated. They've been the strongest team of the series.
you don't
and
mind,
this time around, I truly think that the
what are you
brackets
doing
have
here,
been
PH? Are you
balanced in
working
the favors
here,
of all
or
the teams have the ability to beat
just
each other.
visiting PH?
Absolutely. We've got some of the best players, or debatably the best players within each respective role, versus a whole bunch of cuties.
Oh,
But
Malaysian.
Let's get into the predictions.
I have
What do you guys think has got
I have a
won?
friend
Well, I
Malaysian.
mean, obviously,
But,
all
just
six
in Discord.
casters or 4 casters, 2 hosts, all 6 talents right now are going for GG. And I think I think it's a fair vote. I think they're the favorite right now. They have been the most dominant so far. If there's a team though right now that's has the possibilities, it could maybe be Area 77.
Yeah, I think it's a hard vote to cast even for me. I do like A77's roster and
Bro,
a lot of their
I
players.
have
And I
a-
think A77
I have a friend
has the
Malaysian.
ability to overcome
But,
Gaimin Gladiators, but Gaimin Gladiators, of course, they have the all-star lineup. They have the players
Just in
that
Discord.
dominated
And
in the previous NACT.
whenever
teams. So
I,
vote them
message,
out to here,
him,
like I've watched their games
like,
in the last NACT, and they've just continued
in,
to prove
in the
me
evening,
wrong, Zeke. So I'm a fan.
he's
of
doing
GG
this-
all the way here.
Absolutely calm,
pray-
collected, and
prayers,
effective.
something like
3
that?
words I would definitely
What do
use
you call
to
that?
describe the current GG lineup. But with that being said, again, you know, you guys said it.
Oh,
already.
you have a Pinay
Area
wife.
77 has
Okay.
been proving
Good
to
for
be
you.
significantly stronger than I think any of us could have really anticipated up to this point. So with that being said, if there's anybody that's going to be able to bring the heat
Can you
against
understand
the GG, and,
Tagalog?
put out the fire, it might be them.
Put out the fire indeed, but that is a raging fire right now.
Can you understand Tagalog?
GG, I mean, if anyone was gonna like put money on a team guaranteed to go to grand finals, GG would be your best bet, right? They have an all-star roster. They've got a bunch of monsters, and then the newest added addition, Chicken in the EXP lane. Last season, we saw Chicken in BTK. He had to roll switch a few times, had a couple hiccups, but now he's in his pride and glory lane, right? He's in EXP, and he's going to bring a whole different layer over to GG. Plus, they got the sponsorship now. That's GG
Okay,
now.
wait.
It's no longer TOB. They got a lot to represent here. You know,
So,
hashtag winnable, all that good stuff. It is definitely something we gotta see.
Oh, you're not a Muslim.
Area 77, a team we've all known for a while, but still, do they have what it takes?
Yeah, but when we talk about the powerhouses of GG, it comes with a lot of expectations once again, and they have to be able to hold in this series. This is a quite important
Do you
series.
think
because
BTK
the
can
last-
beat GG?
The very first match that we had, Feed was able to get 1 game, right? So they still have the points. If GG is able to sweep
Do you think
2-0, they're going to be
BTK
pushed
can
up
beat
to
GG?
the very top. If they do end up dropping against A77, which is totally possible, A77 is a great team here, it's going to put them pretty much in a more even bracket. It's not going to be as dominating
Guys,
as
like and
the
subscribe.
overall scores that they had in the last season. I think that's very important for GG to prove to themselves, especially just like
No,
Trev's
no.
saying, the new
It's
sponsorship
not
coming
BTK
through.
versus GG today.
It's going to
It's
there's a
GG
lot
versus
of high
A77.
expectations coming out.
But what
for
I'm
both the
asking is,
organizations here.
Do you think BTK can beat
Absolutely.
GG?
So, with that being said, again, Area 77,
If they
very,
face-
very potent team, a very historic team for North America. And I know just as long as they've been here, you've been here as well, Trex. Trex, could you give us a little bit more history about them?
Story time for Area 77? Is that what you want? You want story time? I can
Yeah.
give you story time.
The
All right,
campfire ring.
Way back in the olden days of NACT. No, but Area 77 definitely. It's been a household name. But you go all the way back to like M3 time or pre-M3 time. They were considered like the second best team. But that was when it was like Gals, Mar, Yato was still on the team. Several other members were still on the team.
Rionma,
We're going to be jumping
you said that,
into the draft though. Zeke,
you're
sorry,
watching
I'm taking your toss.
MPLPH
see
as
you
well,
next time.
right?
Every time.
All right, but we do have some time. It's game number 1, so we can talk about Area 77 a little bit. Their team
I'm
overall has
I'm
changed
streaming
a few rosters,
MPLPH
had a
as well.
big falling off
So,
point. Yato and T
if you wanna
leave
watch
the
MPLPH,
squad eventually. Before, when Yato
you
and T were
can-
still on there, they were able to achieve
can help
one
me by
NACT
watching my stream.
victory. But that was when BTK wasn't really around. That was when some of the big dogs were
And
not competing.
advance, thank you.
After Yato and T leave, it comes down to Gals, Mar Cutie.
If you watch,
The rest of
if
the
you're
team
gonna
is
watch
still in the line, but, like,
MPLPH,
we're asking a lot of information. We're on
That's
the spot,
why I
but
watch
now
my,
we have this
live
new
stream.
roster. And last season, they were able to secure a very surprising.
I'm one of
fourth-place
the
finish. A lot of
official
people didn't think they were
streamer
even
of
going to make it to
MPLPH
playoffs last season, but they're able
and
to do that.
NACT.
So now they're here. Still some of the same players, but a slightly new roster. We still
I have a
more.
Facebook page as well, bro.
We've got Tarzan here. ISO now joining the squad. We've got Jay. So we have some veterans here as well with Jay and Yureshi, some MPL former
If
veterans.
you-
And one of the matches
if
I'm
you
really
follow
excited
my,
for anyway is Jay
my Facebook
versus
page.
Shark and Yureshi versus Chicken.
You will learn a lot of
Yeah, no,
Tagalog
this is going to be a
words there.
very, very tough series for both of these teams. I think all of them are all-star players, the best of the best. And this time around, A77 has to kind of prove themselves that they can stand up against GG. You said they had a great performance, yes, but they still fell
what,
short to
GG
the
banned.
TOB back in
They
those
banned Barats
days.
right
But
away.
now this time around, they decided to pair up with a few different players, right? Tarzan came from Avalon, now is in A77's roster. Yurishi has kind of been hiding around, joining multiple teams and now landing a home in A77.
First pick, GG.
Just like you're saying, pairing
They're
up
gonna get
those
Nolan.
international players along with some of the
me,
strongest backbones
they're gonna get
of
Nolan.
A77. It's going to be proven that they can uprise and upset some of these great seeds. But Trex, we're going to jump into the draft. Rats, Cece, Matilda getting banned out by the side of GG, and the Navaria and Joy gets taken out by the side of A77.
Yeah, I want to point something out. Now we're seeing how the big dogs draft, right? And we didn't see the Joy get banned much. We didn't see the Nolan get banned much. And it's kind of obsessed because I'm like, listen, I know these picks
Oh,
are meta.
Reba
man. I
Nolan.
know they are meta. These are
Ruby's
picks that
gonna
are
come out.
feared in many parts around the world. And when you have teams that can really pull them off, you do have to ban
Oh.
them. And there goes the Joy. There goes the Nolan.
You
But
were
the
shocked.
Rats, some of these picks are not going to get through. But
Of course,
first
they
pick,
prio back.
Vexana.
They're gonna
And
prio
you mentioned the
Vexana
Ruby. I
there.
think it's definitely something we see here from Area 77.
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting that the side of GG decides to prioritize this Vexana. Shows that, hey, if they are not being banned out, the side of GG is going to take that no problem. But the response coming out from A77, I do think the Ruby is a great pick, right? We've seen Shark and we've seen Chicken do so extremely well on this hero. If not
JQT
denied
will pick
away,
Diggy.
it's going to smell a lot of trouble for the side
JQT
of
will pick
A77.
Diggy.
And other picks coming out to play, it's not going to be the Ruby.
They're
They
gonna use
decided to
Diggy
go
there.
for the Fredrin along with the Arlott that can be flexed into the roam and the XP position.
Yeah, I mean, and we know Yureshi has the ability to play
For
Arlott
sure.
very well.
Because,
Back in the spring season last
Nolan
year,
was
he was a
banned.
monster with it, and now
Nolan
I mean,
was
I'm
banned,
sure Jay
that's
can
why,
use it, but
they're
we
gonna
haven't seen
get
Rome that hasn't really been able to
tank
use the
jungle
Arlott
for
very
best
well.
player.
So it's a very solid upfront pick. It leaves a lot of things open for themselves. And next, if
They're
they
gonna
really pick up
get
the
back
gold
shot.
lane or something,
Back shot
or
or
the
Akai.
mid, then it kind of keeps GG guessing
Or
on
Xborg.
draft.
Yeah, I'm guessing they have to. I do think a Ruby can be a good pickup along with the Claude, which has been proven to be one of the best marksmen. But Zia has always been that guy to pick. A lot of unconventional pick. This time around, they do not opt to go for that. The Carry and the Ruby, two signature picks of the season. The strong meta that GG
I know the
is
drop.
bringing to the table. It's going to be a hard defend to go against if it was
Ruby
like
flex.
A77.
So
Wow, you're
after
good.
they make their pick, I think they pick up the Claude now. Might be the right answer.
You're
for
good, Leon,
77
man.
Before Marks
For sure.
start getting banned out.
Arlott
and then
pick
it's
is a
all
flex.
honestly drafts
And
aren't too
Ruby
far
is a flex
apart.
as well.
Both of them have a Roam EXP flex in. They both could end up having a gold laner. The only big difference is GG's got their mid and Area 77 has their jungle. I'm excited to see what their last pick is because I kind of want to start talking about what these
Arlott
possible
flex
lanes
and
could be,
Ruby
'cause Area
flex.
77 has to start thinking.
Because
Whoa.
they can use Roam.
That
They can,
is
use Ruby
spicy
as well.
right there for Mark Cutie in the mid side.
Oh shit, Louis.
I mean that's definitely
Interesting.
different. Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, no, I do think that A77 should pick up the damage dealer in their third slot, right? They have the Arlott to flex. They should not go for the XP. They should not go for the roam. Let that pick kind of confuse for the side of GG because GG has that themselves.
That's a good
They
pick,
can flex
actually.
onto both positions here.
Because
So I think the mage
for you to be
is
able to
great.
beat
Now, the
Vexana,
Louis is going to be another thing.
you
right?
need the
If they
mage
don't even pick up the Louis
with the
it's
long
not
range
getting banned
skill.
out. You could have wasted GG's ban on a
Long
fairness
range,
on Olivia
skill.
and pulled that out. The Claude is
Because,
also variable, but I do think
Vexana's
the Claude
first
is
skill
gonna
and
get
second
taken
skill
away, potentially
has
the
a wide
Claude
range.
also, and the Claude on the board, the Fanny to take away from best players hero pool from A77. I think that's quite smart to defend against something like a Louis where she does not have that mobility and that lockdown stun to stop the Fanny.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, they have to kind of focus on a best player here. I didn't know if I thought the Fanny might go
Deban.
for the Martyrs.
Deban best player hero.
Basha or something a bit bulkier, but yeah, you're right. If you're gonna have a Luyi mid, you're definitely kind of squishy. You
Yeah,
definitely lack
they
mobility,
ban MM
and
again.
you want to kind of stop
I
best player
think-
from picking any hyper aggressive jungle. It's something he's
They're gonna ban
something he's
Bruno.
good at, but with no Barats, no Fredrin, no Martis, no Fanny, he could still go for the Basha, or go for something real crazy, right? Like go for some more of outlandish assassin or something here.
Yeah, I think the Basha could be proven for
Oh,
best
see,
player.
yeah,
There's
they got-
also
they
the
ban
Kai
Xia.
if he chooses to go
Kai.
for that utility. But
Good
there's
ban.
also potential, right? Best player might go for an assassin here. Yeah, the Guinevere is also available paired up with the Ruby and the knockup coming out from Hoon. That's forcing Purify's left and right for A77, and now they have to decide how they want to draft this comp. Maybe picking up the Ruby the Guinevere themselves, but no. The Grok comes out to play
Oh,
once again.
A77's drop is good.
I'm guessing Grok Roam, right? Grok Roam. Unless, I mean, of course, it's still flexible, right? They could go for Arlot Roam or Arlot EXP or Grok Roam or Grok EXP, but I'm guessing it's Grok Roam, Arlot EXP, which we know Yureshi has a really nice.
You is always shocked.
Very well on it. It's very comfortable. Not only that, it gives them some nice front line, some nice CC, some nice protection for this Luyi. And there goes the
good
Guinevere
guess.
for best player.
Tigreal.
Pick either an EXP
They're gonna go
or
Tigreal.
GG.
Well, the Grok pick now is a lot more exciting for me.
They're gonna
especially
go
with the
for
amount of
Tigreal
CC
for
that
sure.
Gaimin Gladiators have put onto their lineup, right? The Grok can immune a lot of CC on the
Yeah.
first skill, can
I
deny the
told
stuns
you,
coming out,
Tigreal.
and now with Shark on this Tigreal, it's almost like GG's getting countered by the Grok just himself. So A77 is going to prevail in this series. The Grok is going to be soaking up all the CC coming through, but the pick that we've been talking about that has been
All night.
so successful all night. The Hereth gets picked up by ISO, and this man has proven that the Hereth has done so much, paid the dividends during our last NACT, and ISO again this time picks it up to go against the stun coming out from Gaimin Gladiators. Definitely predicting that the Purify is going to be available for the Hereth.
I mean, it almost makes me. I guess no, because you build Arlot. If you play Arlot EXP, you can build some damage now, right? Because like, where's their physical damage? I was thinking
Sorry.
maybe they do put Grok in the EXP just so he can build a BOD and they make up for that lack or something. But we'll see exactly how it all plans out. I kind of like the draft. Of course, there's the one wild card, the Luyi, right? But if Area 77 can make that work, I think we have a pretty decent draft here. They do have to watch out for the heavy CC from the side of GG, but yeah, I'm not too. I don't think it's too one-sided.
Yeah, I do think that Mark and Ice are both be taking the Purify. Jay just trying to soak up some of the CC coming out from
The
Gaimin Gladiators
composition-
would be best
the
case
composition
scenario
of,
for them.
GG.
But on the other
It's
hand,
kinda-
Gaimin Gladiators have the initiation. They have the deciding factor to stun up
Flash-wise.
and combo their stuns here, right?
No.
They have 4 members.
If
that can
Tigreal
drop any of the front lines that
got those
A77 talks
A77
about.
players.
I also think Gaimin Gladiator has a great
They're doomed.
draft in this series.
Imagine
but
the
ISO
layering of the
mobility, maybe
crowd
might be too
control.
much to handle. The immune of CC coming out from Jay might be too tough for the stuns to come through, but I still think Gaimin Gladiators here, that is an extremely strong draft.
But let's see.
Yeah, I mean, the
Yeah.
CC is.
GG has a lot of splash
insanity
damage.
from GG, man.
AoE
Even
damage.
if you bait out the implosion, you still have 3 more ults to worry about. Even if you bait out the I'm offended, you still have 3 more ults to worry about. And literally all of them
Winifred
can
ulti.
combo off of one another.
Tig ulti.
Implosion,
Ruby
Violent
ulti.
Requiem, you got the
Vexana.
Knight from the Eternal
Ugh.
Guardian,
Oh
Violent
my God.
Requiem. You got the Implosion Guardian. I mean, it's just however you want to do it. There's an endless amount of combinations here from GG. So Area 77 has to watch out for that. And you're right. I think we're going to see a lot of Purifies. I think we might even see the Luyi Purify instead of a Luyi Flicker or something like that. We might see Hereth already works very good with the Purify, so that at least they have that going for them. They do have the CC nullification with the Grok in the first skill. So
They
there are
beat-
some possibilities.
they beat BTK for a reason, you know.
Goes probably one of the most anticipated matches of day 2. This is game number 1, Area 77 up against GG.
Yeah, we got the aliens versus the gladiators. It's a classic matchup between two of the most renowned teams in the North American MLBB history. And
They're gonna
we're
get the
gonna get a
Lito.
good start
Sheesh!
for the
That
side
damage,
of
bro.
A77. Bursting Hoon back into the base. This is going to be quite tough. Lu Yi, it's not really that traditional hero that gets sent down onto the mid lane. I do know we have a few mage players that
See?
like that hero, but it's
Every
rarely,
Tigreal user
it's pretty rare that any
should
team
do
is
that,
picking up this
but
hero at this point of the stage.
based on what
Definitely,
I saw
you're right,
a while
but
ago,
I think people do forget Luyi can
most of the
pack a
Tigreal,
decent punch, especially in the early game.
most of
She
the
can
player
scale
who used
very
Tigreal a while
well.
ago didn't do
The
that.
problem is the big issue with Luyi, right, is the lack of mobility. So, but you're up against a Vexana who also doesn't have crazy mobility. Where Vexana shines, the CC she supplies, the Eternal Guardian she supplies. So it's
That
not like
Luyi
Marcuti
can be
has to worry
dangerous,
too
bro.
much about like keeping up with rotations.
There's an
The
ambulance.
major problem for Marcuti
Where's
is
that?
going to be not getting picked off by members of GG.
Yeah, and you know, for the side of Marcuti and the A77, they do have a lot of magic damage. And going back to what you said in the draft, it definitely feels like A77 is lacking quite a bit on the physical department. The R-Lot, yes, can be building a little bit of damage, but it's still
Oh
gonna be
my
quite tough
god.
now. To look at some of
Chicken
the
Gap
emblems you have on
Yureshi.
Festival Blood, which is quite interesting, paired up with the carry that both are taking that utility spell. So there's gonna be
Skill.
some trades going on to the far side of the map, and it's quite interesting that GG is setting up camp onto the top side.
That Luyi is so dangerous, bro.
So they get that out before the turtle. Best player able to hint out. Just get the violent Requiem off on Tarzan Cutie.
My god. Look at the CC, bro. Look at the crowd control.
They're actually trying to dash back. Best player going to be able to work away at this turtle.
Tarzan
The
don't
jungler
have
down already.
don't have
It's gonna
the
be an
chance
easy
to
turtle for the side of GG.
Yeah, it's a blind dash coming out from
Escape,
best player, getting
you
that
know?
hook and a
Oh shit.
play coming out from
What
Jay.
a
The
dodge
second
by
round of
best
damage
player.
does come down on Marcuti. Fried Chicken able to get the kill. Another one possibly coming down onto Jay. Jay Cutie may be able to just get away before Chicken flickers in. Not today.
Jay's-
Double kill.
Jay's
over the fly.
using Grak like a true Filipino like a true Filipino player.
3-0.
Ulting the turtle.
3 minutes in, the
What
advantage
a
is already
nice.
set for the side of Gaimin Gladiators. A77, not really the opening that they were expecting here. They're getting picked off left and right along with the neutral objective.
Once they got
Then
Fredrin,
they have to
they're gonna
play
burst
kind
it,
of behind the
for
scenes
sure.
back, kind of in the
That's-
traditional
that's
sense
their,
of where
that's their
A77
plan.
actually thrives. Right?
Once they
always
got
play
Fredrin,
down,
they're gonna
and they
burst
can
it.
always get some of the tower defense that they have been so renowned and so known for in this series. And this time around, it's not going to be too much of a difference. I don't think GG has the lead completely, and I feel like A77 definitely has the opportunity to come back in the series already.
That Luyi is very
with a 2K gold lead already, plus all three of those kills into the hands of Fried Chicken, one of the new players on Gaimin Gladiators that
He's
we're
gonna
gonna
get
have our
that.
eyes on, seeing
Shit.
how he affects this game. It's going to be dangerous. And Ruby, we already know
Why
that
ISO
getting
is-
ahead this early. Normally it takes, because a lot of times Ruby gets put into the roam slot where it takes some time to scale, but this time could become a problem very early on.
Yeah, 4-man.
Look at the GG comp.
GG onto the bot side.
Sheesh,
I do think
for-
that Jay and
for
ISO is playing this
rotation.
quite well. Tarzan
Oh.
here.
Oh my
Screwed
god,
up.
they
Marcuti
Oh my
in a bad
god.
spot.
Luyi
He's
is
trying to find
dead.
something.
Luyi is
Gotta
dead.
capitalize. Marcuti flickers back. His
Oh!
force does come down. Best player takes
Shit,
a bit of damage,
ulti.
forced to back off. But Shark also could be the target. And ISO
Shark is dead.
gonna be able to pick up the kill. Area 7 finding one.
Yeah, beautiful engage, actually. Beautiful implosion coming out from Shark, hitting 3 of the man from the side of A77, but the follow-up is just not there. There's not enough damage coming out from
Oh
GG.
my god.
Oh, to keep
Oh,
getting
shit.
picked off, Jay.
No
Able to
skill,
just get
Vexana, no
through.
skill.
GG now.
Cool
Maybe
down.
able to get another free turtle here.
Yeah, but Tarzan is going to be in position. He has a lot of health, so the 50-50 should be quite available for the side of A77. Look at the reinforcements coming
They're gonna
through.
ult Tarzan. They're gonna ult
Yeah, the
Tarzan.
diversion. But a big terrifying on Marcuti. Jay Cutie able to take the turtle. A lot of damage on a Shark as well. Fried Chicken in a bad position. Shark
What the fuck?
trying to get away, but a big
A77 is
Shark goes down. You're executing,
sheesh.
pick up the kill. Area 77
Wow.
evening out the gold lane away to the off lane. ISO gets the 1v1. Area 77 evening the playing field.
Dominating throughout the map. You can see Marcuti using the ultimate, the Yin Yang, to just kind of go forward in the flicker.
Final slash, the flicker, Hoon in a bad spot.
Wow, A77 is good.
Picks up the kill. They take the lead at 5.5 minutes.
Already an exciting opening from A77 as they dominate their way back into the gold lead. It's a small lead, but nonetheless, it is still a small lead going up against the Gladiators here. Honestly, A77 bouncing back in this series already. It's a pretty good term in terms of why they're bouncing back, but it just seems like Gaimin Gladiators, they're just not focusing too well here, losing a couple of the small trades here and there.
They're going to be able to take this tower, though, which is huge. They swapped lanes, put Z on
They
the top
need-
side.
Yes,
And that
A77 is doing good.
Crucial for GG here. Area 77 also on the bot side now. Both teams looking for moves around the map.
They need to get the
The
Luyi.
split cam coming through.
makes
4-3
me
is the
dizzy.
overall scoreboard. It is tied in terms of the gold leads, and I feel like A77 is figuring out the strategies of Gaimin Gladiators. This is a team that has been dominating throughout every single series that they had throughout the whole entire last year, and this time around, it doesn't seem like Gaimin Gladiators is getting the dominance that they have had pretty much throughout the last few series.
Oh no.
Comes in. Marcuti
Gaimin
also
Gladiators
off
is
the
doing
wall
for the objective.
from Brock. They are able to defend the tower, but Gaimin Gladiators kind of getting back to the roots. We don't need to just
They're
take
doing the
fights, we just
objectives
need to
now.
get objectives. They know what the goal of the game is. In the mid side, though, a lot of damage on
Shit.
to best player. ISO picks up the kill.
He's dead.
Purple buff goes over to Tarzan with no retry. GG might have to back off.
Yeah, and this is the traditional opening coming out from A77. They love to five-man group, but the Implosion.
Explosion does land down onto Ureshi, but is able to just dash away in the nick of time. The Guardian slams JQT, takes him out, and now Marcuti in trouble as well. One more shot and he's down.
Oh shit.
Hoon finds the kill. But the turtle does go to the side of Area 77. Gold still at a standstill.
Yeah, and this is quite the hype match already. Both teams are battling it out, trading objectives for kills for the objectives. Take a look at some of the items and the gold lead. The Harith is honestly up a little bit of gold, has the Calamity along with the Feather, so he has scaled quite well into play. And honestly, overall, every single member is neck to neck, and I'm surprised that Louis is doing so extremely well, especially going up against the Vexana. Maybe it's because both of those heroes are kind of just sitting ducks and they don't have those dashes available, so it's just quite even across the board.
A lot of possibilities. I'm still waiting. We've already seen the diversion be used.
Yes,
to
yes.
Get Brock back. Oh, wait a second. Big final slash followed up as Mon's force. Best player goes down once again. That's going to be 2 kills onto him. And Tarzan Cutie now catching up here a little bit. The player level is even, but still we can start to see the scale tip towards Tarzan.
Yeah, and A77 sieging onto the bot side, I think it's a great pick off. They do have the top side available for that R-Lot. Hopefully he can get the clear, but the Flicker Implosion stops on the top side.
Ooh.
Oh my god, they're pushing it.
Nice kill onto Ureshi there. Another tower down. Zia's doing his job to perfection here. Split pushing, getting a pick off here and there. I mean, GG hanging in the game, and the gold has not gone more than a few hundred to either side in a while now.
Yeah, and it's tower
Once-
3 to 3 kills.
Once Kari
literally
got
identical,
his
6
height,
to 6.
got his
And it's
item.
only 10 minutes in. It's 9 minutes in, and we're getting close onto that.
A77
mid-game where
will have a
lot of
problem
these
here.
heroes are buying items to scale, completing their second onto their third item. So A77
Because
now
they're gonna
putting
force the
some
clash.
pressure onto the top side, while
They're
the
gonna
members of
force the
GG
clash
are
here.
grouping at mid. So are they going to be able to defend here?
See what they do with the fact. I mean, yes, GG has taken that whole top lane, but Area 77 has broken through the mid, which in my eyes is a bit more of an advantage. Now they're going to take the top side as well. ISO able to put pressure onto that tower. just in time. Wait a second, best player able to get the Violent Requiem onto Tarzan, the implosion as well.
I told you.
Make it 3. JQ
Told you.
way to escape, but he's not able to. Mark Cutie finds
Told you.
though.
Kari will do it.
Force drops it. Fried chicken.
Fried chicken.
Fried chicken flickers in, but can't get the kill.
Oh!
A little too deep.
What a layering of
Finally
skill.
goes down. Fried chicken able to get away safely. 2
What
for
a nice.
1 right
See?
now. Area 77
See the
still holding
difference?
the gold lead, but this should be the first Lord for GG.
Yeah, GG has set that team fight up perfectly. The stun combinations are
They're
going
so,
through.
team-
on the backside,
team
no
fight
members
organized.
are going to go in
The
for
layering of
contestation
the
of this
skill.
first objective. And now the gold lead is just shifting back and forth. It's still tied for both teams, but it seems like in that last team fight though, Gaimin Gladiators, they can just 100-0 CC whoever. It could be the Fredgen, it could be the Louis, it could be the Grok. They're able to take down members of A77 with no
They got the
problem, as long as
Fredrin, they
sync
burst
their
it.
stuns and knockups together.
They need to push this.
I mean, that's definitely been
But,
the winning
their problem is
ingredients for
Louis.
GG in these fights so far. Tarzan continues. First, it was the first turtle. He gets knocked up, found out in the bush. Now, best player, even though he's had a slightly rough
Ooh,
game, it's
shit.
still huge.
Oh,
Reshi
oh,
takes
you're
the
dead.
turtle guardian to the face, locked
Oh,
up by
you're
Chicken,
dead.
knocked up by best
Oh, you're
player.
dead, bro.
Hoon
Oh,
gets
shit.
the kill. It's looking a little bit rough.
What
Mark
the
Cutie
fuck
next
is
to
that?
Tarzan not able to get away. The Am offended locks on. His Mons Force dropped by ISO. He's
Oh,
moving out.
ISO.
Several members.
Oh,
He's
you're
able to get the
doing.
kill, and he
Oh,
might just go
oh.
down. Tarzan finds best player. It's 1 for 2.
Did you
They
see
will
that?
lose the tower, but at least Area 77 doesn't completely fall.
Fucking Gaimin
Change
Gladiators.
coming out from GG. They had the Lord marching down on the top side, and the members of A77 were just
That
distracted,
flash is so
trying
good.
to defend the mid. And now they've lost both of their mid towers. They're in their inhibitor base. It's an even game coming out from both sides.
That's definitely
Oh my God,
crucial for
that
Area
carry.
77, not to force things, but they do want one. Fried chicken finally goes
Fried
down.
chicken
That's
so
the
deep.
First kill.
Should
they
back
could
out.
get on a chicken.
Yeah, and the first kill is going to be one of many. 10-9 is the overall scoreboard. 12 minutes in, a complete even match.
Shark-
Besides the
Shark
Gaimin
is
Gladiators, they
actually
do have a little bit more real
looking
estate
for
to work
Louis.
with. Let's take a look at some of the gold across the board. It definitely feels like the side of A77. They have a small lead in the jungle position, but the mage is belonging to Hoon here with about a 1k gold lead.
Ooh, implosion.
Oh my God.
Tarzan does go down. Hoon able to pick up the kill. JQ
I told you.
conceal just to try to get away here. Yureshi to the backside though with the vengeance comes through. Finds Shark. Looking for the next target. Another one. Yureshi's on fire. Zia's taken out and ISO knows it's time to shine. Best player forced to run away. Hoon now in a bad spot at the top side of the map. Yureshi. Another kill. 4, 3, and
They
4.
backdoor.
This is why you got to be careful giving him the
They use the
all.
back
He
line,
was a
bro.
star on it back in spring season, and he's a star on it back in spring season again.
Yeah, now A77 is going to be the one that sieges onto the first inhibitor tower. They do end up taking that tower down. They should look to disengage, but getting
Final
catching
flash
off.
on
Shit.
Fried Chicken. Mark Cute able to get the kill. Can they end this
That
here?
Luis.
Shark is
So
back
OP.
on the map. They don't- Mark Cute able to use a diversion to the boss side, clear the waves. Area 77, take back the lead.
Mark Cutie said, "God, any of them are caught off." Now, A77 feels like they have some small momentum, right? They're able to kind of push onto this team fight quite well, kind of orchestrating how they want to fight out these fights. And best player getting caught once again, but decides to jump away. And it's a good disengagement here.
Mons Force does drop from ISO. He's going to use it to zone.
Implosion?
Holy shit.
The implosion connects. Only
Holy
one
shit.
pushback onto
Oh
several.
shit.
The big Guardian slams down. Shark taken out from ISO though. Best player might just be next. A double
That
kill
flash
for
is so
ISO. The final slash. Fried Chicken trying to fight it out. It's a bloodbath. The Mons Force drops and Hoon drops as well. It's
No
3
one
members
died.
for Gaimin Gladiators gone, and all 5 of Area 77 still stand.
Yeah, and they're definitely going to look to siege onto this mid side. Now, I don't know if they have the firepower to be able to end this
No one
game,
died for,
especially with just
A77.
one small wave of minion, but they're definitely trying. It's a 4-man siege onto this mid side. Louis
Wow.
is coming through.
A77 is good.
Oh.
Oh, you're
Chicken
dead, Tarzan.
Able to get the I'm offended. Tarzan Cutie goes down. Maybe they should have just gone for the Lord, but they decide not to. They want to try to force this right here, but Jay is bursted.
Oh my God.
Back on the
A77
field.
is-
Area 77
Oh, they're done.
falling. Did they push it too far? Gaimin Gladiators don't come to our base just yet. They came unprepared. The diversion
They
from Mark
done.
Cutie brings them back to the base, and they're okay.
They're too deep.
But still, they lose 3 members.
They're gonna
A lot of
push it.
WWE members, the Lord is going to be marching down. It seems like the Gaming Gladiators, though, they're not choosing to opt to go for that objective. 10 seconds are on the death board. I do think the Lord is going to be a much better call here. The top side, look at that wave. It's going to hit onto that tower. I don't know.
Oh, they're gonna teleport.
Is going to be able to get back.
They're gonna
Gaming
teleport, bro.
Gladiators should be able to get this Lord uncontested, but the Louis ultimate is going to be available here.
They're gonna teleport.
Yeah, that is huge. We got the replay here. They
There's
thought
no
they could
minions.
end it, and I think this was the biggest they could make this game. Instead of going for the Lord, they're not able to connect. The health bars were just too low. And now, GG back in the game. Area 77 has to make some important decisions here. Lord is going to be marching down towards Area 77. GG has taken a nice lead.
Yeah, and this is where GG shines quite a bit, right? When the Lord is marching down, they could sync the waves quite nicely and kind of orchestrate this battle to siege
They
against
will-
the other towers.
A77 will
But
go
A77
for
is a team that is full of
teleport
defense.
here,
They've
for
always
sure.
strived to do so extremely well when it comes down to these base defenses, and this
See?
time around, I don't
They're
think
gonna
it's going to
teleport.
be a problem for them. The Lord is marching down onto the top side, but A77, they do
Oh, that-
have the ability to turn
that
things
Louis-
around. It's going to be quite tough
So much
for Gaming Gladiators
damage.
to siege onto this mid tower, but it's still anyone's game at this point.
And they have to be careful about the way they engage, because one big
All
final
lanes in
slash
sync.
flicker from Yureshi could be game-changing. The Lord able to crash onto the top side. Tarzan trying to make work of it. Mark Cutie there as well. Yureshi back down to the bot, trying to clear waves. They just need to defend. Try not to lose more than one. The final slash connects onto no one. Yureshi unable to make it happen. ISO drops him on force. GG unable to completely break through here.
Yeah, and this is the first time that I feel like GG has struggled a little bit in terms of kind of like the regular season, right? This is kind of the first showing that GG is on kind of a 50-50 defense move. They are having the lead and coming through in the engagement.
I'm offended. Only connects onto Yureshi. Doesn't make a huge difference. The Eternal Guardian drops as well. It's a lot of ults used to no avail. Area 77 should be able to breathe now. They still got a lot of green dots on their side of the map. They're not rushing it, though. They knew the mistake last time, over pushing. But this could be their chance to try to look for a play. ISO has Zamon's force back. I'm waiting to see a drop. White Chicken hits.
Oh,
the
shit.
Offended. ISO drops Zamon's force to use it.
ISO.
Tarzan still going to get terrified. Takes a little
ISO
damage.
almost
GG not
died.
letting up, though.
Yeah, then that's a great purify
That
that
carry
gets knocked
damage
off
is
the board
good.
for the next Lord fight. And I was kind of going to
So,
talk about A77.
lot
Both
of
the
bursts.
teams have been holding on to their spells quite well, choosing to disengage and not really over initiating, but A77 does not have that purify available.
Yeah.
And that's going to be quite tough. As look at it, Gaming Gladiators pushing
Oh,
in.
final slash on a best player. A lot of damage coming from ISO and Mark Cutie. Best player goes down.
Ulti.
White Chicken gonna be the next target.
Ult.
Vengeance comes through. But look
Ult.
at defended. On several
Oh,
rounds,
shit.
The implosion, the pushback, and ISO falls.
Oh, shit.
Jay Cutie might just be next. The immortality
Oh,
pops.
shit.
The final slash lands back onto Zia, but he's got the Spleedy Light Wheel. He's unloading onto Tarzan. Immortality.
Shark
pops
is
as
not
well.
ulting
GG now
until the
closing
very last
the
minute, bro.
grass. They want to lock onto the base, but they need a few more minions.
Vexana's
Zoom
ult.
in view,
Vexana's
Fried
ult.
Chicken looking for something.
Oh
Tarzan
my god,
there.
Vexana's
77
ult is
still
there.
defending. Mark
Sheesh.
still there, but the I'm offended locks on again.
Oh my
And two
god.
members drop Tarzan against 5. He's not going to be enough today. GG will be able to close in and take game number 1.
What the fuck?
GG takes
That
game
layering of,
number 19
crowd
to
control, bro.
17 is the overall scoreboard. A 19
that?
minute
The layering of
match
crowd control.
between the two powerhouses of NACT. 19, 17, and 45 is the overall KDA of the Gaming Gladiators, and the dominating performance coming out from pretty much all the members of Gaming Gladiators. I felt like their draft itself was quite beautiful. They had so much knockup, so much CC, and when you talked about trading
Once
ultimates,
once they
almost
got
felt like when the ultimates
Tarzan.
were down, Gaming Gladiators still
Or-
had so much resources and skills available to
if
lock
they
down
see
and
anyone
the
on
members
the
of A77.
A77, They are ulting it.
I still can't get over the fact
Ulting
that
it and bursting it.
77 pushed that last push, man. You know, and I caught some of the player cams as well. ISO knew after they failed. One of the player cams went to ISO and he's kind of laughing. He's like, man, like you could just see like we shouldn't have gone for it. Like just knew it was kind of a mess up there. And those are the small decisions, right? And that's where GG comes out on top. You know, Zeke actually said it, cool, collective, effective, and that's what GG is right now, and they're able to get through the bad times and still come out on top of the win.
Yeah, and they capitalize on the mistakes that A77 have, but this doesn't prove too much that, you know, A77 did make a mistake, but they were pretty much right there in the series. If they just played that fight a little bit different, had a little bit more different shot calls, it could have gone both ways, honestly. But Gaimin Gladiators able to take the very first game of this series. 19-17 is the overall KDA, and quite convincingly, especially in the last few team fights, popping ISO's Purify was a huge thing for the Ruby to be able to get the I'm Offended off, and then proceeding to go for another re-engagement when that Purify is unavailable for their highest damage carry.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think a lot of players played well on the side of GG, but I think Chicken did very good in the laning phase, able to just go deathless. But Zia as well, man. We saw a lot of the split pushing early on when Area 77 was really hitting the gas and pushing Gaimin Gladiators like against the wall. Because of Zia and because of Shark kind of moving around the map,
A77, bro.
they were able to really kind of alleviate the pressure and take back some towers here and there, kind of stop the minions from becoming too much, and kind of make it so
Maybe that's why
close things out too soon.
that's the
And
reason
this
why
game
they
really
beat
proves
BTK
that
yesterday.
both of these
They're
teams
so
are
good.
really strong contenders. I love the word contenders, Trex, and I use it quite often. But contenders, I feel like, are going to be the top 4 in the bracket. And A77 and GG are both teams that do represent that group of players, right? They are contending for the championship, contending for the opportunity to go across the seas and win lots of money. And I do think Gaimin Gladiators here have a strong performance. But A77, man, caught us in surprise. We knew that they had the power in them to have this upset coming through, and they were so extremely close here, Trex.
Yeah, now we're going to be taking a quick look at the big moment, the replay where Area 77 was so close into the grass. This is the fight that they won. This was the big turnaround. This was the Lord they should have been able to take.
Yeah, and you can take a look at a lot of the ultimates and setups being put onto GG's side. The stuns, the snares, all coming through. The Venom Force popping off. It felt like ISO and them had the strategy available, and this is the turn of fight that was unfortunate. Zia is able to get away, and members of A77 are just pretty much trading blow for blows underneath the towers, tanking and soaking so much damage, and it ended up being the downfall of A77 here as all the members been taken off the board.
Yeah, I mean, what a moment. And that's, you know, you see it all the time. It's like you get a big fight at a Lord and you're able to maybe close out. I just felt like their health bars were a little bit too low. If they were all at like 100%, yeah, go for the finish, go for the 3v2, go for the 4v2. But they just didn't have that then. And GG, on the other hand, they took things slow. Yes, at the end here, they do close out, but they knew that they had all 5 members. They knew that they had everybody stocked and ready to go.
Yeah, it's a tough series for A77, honestly. It's a very, very tough matchup for them, and I think they did extremely well. But also, Gaimin Gladiators, they proved to themselves that, hey, like, we are still in this series. Doesn't matter if we lose an inhibitor. Doesn't matter if the strategies did not work and give them an advantage in the early game. The late game strategies, the mind games, just, you know, pushing out targets here and there and capitalizing on the mistakes that A77 have, just prevailed them to go on to getting that point that they're looking for and hopefully turning this series into a 2-0.
Sure. And I think, I mean, if they're, you know, you mentioned 2-0, and I'm wondering, like, Area 77, can they pull off what they just did again? Like, can they almost win and this time just not mess it up? Was that just a good game for them, right? And I think game 2 is where we're really going to have the deciding factor of how close are they to GG in power level, right? Because if Area 77 can come into this game again and put up as good of a fight and almost win like they did, and maybe even win, I think it's huge. It's huge speaking on to the rest of the season, because Area 77 is also only going to get better, only going to get smoother in their gameplay, and it means there's there's a lot of possibilities when it comes to playoffs, right? It's literally week 1 and we're seeing a lot of things happen. So Area 77, I'm excited to see how they jump into this next game. I want to talk a little bit about the Liu Yi pick. The Liu Yi pick actually ended up not being horrible, right? I think it worked pretty well for them. If used at the right time, it seems like something that could maybe be viable in the future.
Yeah, it's definitely a raw element that A77 had in that last series. The Louis pick was picked in the very first phase and actually worked out quite well, right? There was plenty of opportunities where the Louis came with the ultimate, the Divergent, paired up with the Grok. They were able to kind of out macro and come back into the fights quite easily. And we didn't get to see a lot of great disengages from the Louis, but definitely that ultimate has been proven to be very useful. Now, going into game 2, Trex, the Joy and the Arlot have both been taken off the board. Are we going to see a Baratz ban this time around? Because I do think that hero should be prioritized either on the first pick or even the first ban.
I mean, with Area 77 on the blue side, the drafts could definitely change a bit, right? We know that GG banned out the Baratz last time. So I think it's kind of up to whether Area 77 thinks they want to first pick it, right? And does GG want to give it to them?
Yeah, and the next ban for the side of A77 is going to be that Novaria, the long-range mage. They just don't want Hoon to be playing on that.
Yeah.
But the Vexana is still available. I'm not sure if A77 think that the Vexana is actually a good hero at mid, because when they take the Purify on the Harith, they're able to kind of just jump onto the backside, deal tons of damage, and get away quite nicely here. Gaimin Gladiators said, no, we're not having that dinosaur in our match today. That is going to be shelved for the next series.
Yeah, for sure. But still, big respect for that Arlot ban, right? On Yureshi. Yureshi was a menace on it. And that itself is going to open up some things. So, Joy open. Does Area 77 ban out the Nolan again like they did last game? Do they want to fight for it? And then, as you mentioned, the Vexana, it's kind of up to the side of GG. You know, what are they going to leave open depending? Both these teams are definitely, it just feels a lot more methodical looking at these two teams, the way they're drafting, because they value a lot of these quote-unquote meta picks compared to some of the drafts we've seen earlier today, where things were a lot more open and some things were never even picked, even though they were left open. You definitely see, I think these two teams find these things a lot more crucial, and letting something slip through the cracks could be game-breaking.
Well, this time around, there's a lot of flex picks that are still available, right? The Ruby can be slotted in the roam and the XP position. The Matilda has been also let go so far. I might bite my words. GG still has a last ban available. And yes, both of those heroes are going to be available. Maybe a first pick Matilda potentially coming out from A77, or a Ruby to deny that pick away from Chicken.
I mean, I think, yeah, the chicken on the Ruby was gross. And not a lot of teams are picking an EXP right now, which I kind of like it in the EXP lane. Yes, it can take a little bit of time, but once it's involved in team fights, you still get all the bonuses that you had of it.
They're gonna pick Vexana.
But you can also still pick some sort of
They're gonna pick Vexana.
engage roam.
First pick Vexana.
Or you can go
Or
for something like the support roam.
Red Dream.
A very sustainable front liner that's not exactly a diver. Now, finally, we're going to be getting the first picks, and with Vexana open, with the Ruby open. Ooh.
Whoa.
Area 77 never seems to surprise us. Like, they don't go for any of the value picks that we would talk about. They go for the Claude instead, which Claude is a monster right now. This is true.
Well, here's the thing in terms of a Claude first pick strategy, right? A lot of the teams, when they're drafting, either they're looking to draft the best in slot position, or they're looking to counter, right? Or they could look to flex. So for example, if they take the Ruby, that's a flex first pick. They take the Claude, it is definitely that blind strong pick that is good against majority of the user. The Fredrin comes into play, and that is pretty much the same exact thing. Take the best jungler that's available in this option.
Ruby
Paired up, I think a match actually is quite good, and Hoon takes my word. The Vexana gets put onto play. We've seen Hoon do so well with the knockups coming through, and I don't think this time around is going to be any different, especially paired up with the CC coming out from the Fredrin.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely a problem. Maybe Area 77 wants to let them get a lot of CC. Maybe try to pick up something like the Diggy this time. I think it's a little early for that. But yeah, Ruby pick's definitely viable. I definitely don't think you want to give the Vex and the Ruby again over
Matilda?
to GG. Plus, you just lost the Fredrin. Matilda is open. Definitely a possibility for the side of Area 77.
Yeah, the Matilda is available. I do like that pick, but I don't think picking the Matilda and the Ruby is going to be the best option.
Oh.
And no, they do not go for it. They go for it.
Ooh.
They go for a trade. The Tigreal gets picked up here, and the Minotaur gets picked up by Shark. And it's quite interesting that the Matilda gets let go in this draft. And also the Ruby has not been up to play, but I can understand why Shark has readied up this Minotaur, right? We saw earlier on the Minotaur was able to kind of defend and use the knockup to cancel out the Blazing Duets of the Claude, which is going to be proven quite good. And we also saw the matchup between the Tig and the Minnow. The Minotaur was able to win in the series against BloodHounds and NightHorde. So I feel like that is a solid pick coming
Pino
out.
counter.
Now, the
Counter yung
phase
Claude.
bans are on the table. The Bruno gets taken out, so Zia does not have one of his favorite heroes. The Yu Zhong gets taken off the board, meaning I think Chicken is probably looking to deny some of the picks coming off of Yurishi and taking the Ruby himself.
I mean, yeah, and he gets first pick here. So if Area 77 doesn't ban out the Ruby here, it's an easy slot in for the side of GG. Area 77 also still need a mage. Maybe they go for something like the Lu Yi again. It seems like they're not scared to completely think outside of the box here. We need a marksman for Zia, which I wouldn't be surprised seeing Zia on the Harith. It's definitely nothing that's outside of his realm. He's played mage before. I think he'll be comfortable on it if he wants to pick that. So yeah, the carry and the Bruno ban are valid, but Zia's got a pretty deep hero pool overall. I could even see him picking up something crazy like the Beatrix or anything he wants really. I feel pretty comfortable with it. Brody also still open.
I really like the Brody pick, and I kind of wish that some of the teams are going to be picking up the Brody. I think the early game that he has in his kit does a lot of damage, and even when he's down in gold, he could still chunk out a lot of towers. He has the mobility, paired up with his auto attacks, and he's a smooth hero. And just like we're talking about, we do get to see the Brody in action. I think that's great going up against the Claude, and I think it's quite good going up against Tigreal, where when he comes forward, he could just stun up the Tigreal and bounce away in that team fight. Now the response coming out from A77, Faramis is still available. We talked about the Lu Yi, the Purified Lilia has been quite popular. Can come out to a show, but they are still missing that XP and their mage.
Yeah, so what do we put Yureshi on here? I think they pick up the Ruby, right? They just pick it up?
I do think so too. Oh, no.
Nope, they're like, no, we don't care about no Ruby. Fried Chicken gets a free Ruby now. A little surprising. Maybe he goes for something else, though. X-Borg's a possibility, too.
Yeah, the Lapu Lapu, I think, is just to push out Hoon. And I think Hoon's been quite effective on the Vexana, especially with no mobility. He's just moving around quite well in a lot of these team fights. But now a Lapu Lapu is going to be in his face. The Bravest Fighter stance paired up with the amenability that he has should be able to body Hoon out of majority of this team fights. And also, Lapu Lapu does quite well against the early game that Brody has, right? The Brody is able to scale quite well, level 8, building up maybe 1 or 2 items, and that's where the power spike comes into play for Lapu Lapu. But the response, Fried Chicken, no Ruby this time around. The One Punch Man.
I like the Paquito too, because you see it a lot. Paquito's damage, like the combo is so quick that it's great against Lilia, because a lot of time Lilia won't even have time to click the black shoes. Like you can take out, if you're quick enough or you catch them off at the wrong time, you can kill the Lilia before black shoes even pop. Same thing with ISO. You could make the Claude, like before you even have time to hit your BMI, boom, you're already gone. So, and we know Fried Chicken likes to be aggressive. Like, yes, he's okay with the more sustainable EXP laners, but I think where Fried Chicken really shines is when he's able to look for angles, be aggressive, and pick up kills.
Yeah, and he could also cancel the implosion coming out from Tig, so that's another problem that A77 has to deal with. Now, we have seen the pack today. on the XP lane. Sir Bossy played it in the BloodHounds series. Unfortunately, they were not able to get the victory that they were looking for. But just like you're saying, the matchup between the Pack and the Lilia is quite good here. But take us in, Trex.
All right, it's match point for Gaimin Gladiators up against Area 77. Will this be the last match of day 2? Or will Area 77 take us to game 3?
Yeah, I think the aliens this time around, they got to come out with a better ship, right? They got to come into this game strong, get the early game advantage, and I do think they have the ability to do so. Now, the Gladiators, though, have proven to have a really strong late game strategy, right? It seems like almost every late game they're able to win, even if they are down in gold. But pick off right here, Jay, already chunked quite low against an early game Vexana. Seems like Gaimin Gladiators has the map in their favor already.
Most definitely. I think there's a lot of possibilities for both teams here. Area 77 with the Basha should have some nice movement, some nice rotations, able to stop any early aggression that Gaimin Gladiators wants to bring, possibly. Able to maybe help stop GG from getting some early game ganks. And with the way that Area 77 played last game, I have a feeling that it might, because Gaimin Gladiators, like the trio in mid, best player Shark and Hoon, they normally get in team's face, especially here in NA. So after taking a little bit of an almost loss, it may slow down GG's pace a bit.
Yeah, but this time around, if you take a look at the gold lane, you can see the Claude kind of jumping behind, and that's kind of how the matchup is going to go, right? The Claude is going to struggle 1 versus 1 against the Brody, but in our last series, we had the Harith able to solo kill onto the gold side, so that's one advantage that A77 does not have. They kind of just need the Claude to be able to stand against himself, while the other members of A77 look for an engagement on the opposite side of the map.
On Area 77, nobody going to get any kills this early in the game. It's a slow pace to start. Area 77 keeping up with the rotations. First turtle on the map, and everybody seems ready to fight it. Down in the XP lane, still a little bit of action though. Hoon goes down. Yureshi looking for another one. Yureshi should fall as well. It's an EXP laner for a mage. Super Shark, though, taking a little bit of damage. Tarzan looking for the final hit. Can he get it? Fried Chicken able to disengage, but he should be out of commission for this turtle fight.
Yeah, no commission indeed. Tarzan unable to close off that last kill. Seems like both teams are looking to disengage, setting up for another day on this objective.
No, bro. Hello, Cheddar.
Go down. Both teams are going to be looking to fight this out. A little bit of a lead coming out from Gaimin Gladiators. I think the top side is going to be due to that, but GGs are going to be the one that is going to start up this objective.
Oh, shit.
All right, a lot of damage.
Mino. What the fuck? The layering of the skills, bro.
The dog pile onto Yureshi Cutie, getting revenge for the kill earlier. Now Turtle still up. Jay looking for an angle. Tarzan hanging out in the bottom bush right now. Maybe waiting for the engage. Shark smells something wrong. Gonna move on.
Yes.
Best player also taking
they got swept.
Able to get the knock up onto Tarzan.
They got swept by the A77, but they swept LEGACi. So I think it's good. It's good.
They take out Mark Cutie, and Jay
nice.
The next best player picking it up.
Yeah, and I just want to say that GG's
look at the taunt, bro. Look at the taunt. Look at the taunt.
All those CCs have been proven to quite difficult to counter. You can see they're able to single out specific targets. Doesn't matter who it is. The Lapu Lapu can go bravest fighter, but if he doesn't activate the CC immune, he's not going to be able to get that. And
look at the taunt by Fredrin.
As the lead
so
onto
good.
mid, the kill is in their favor, and even on the top,
oh shit!
Grab up a lot of gold.
Oh my god.
Ooh, a little bit of damage on a Shark.
Mino is dead.
Shark though able to back off, but out comes a blazing duet. Finally, ISO picking up a kill, trying to move on to Zia next. Tarzan under the tower takes a couple shots. Mark Cutie's going to try to come in for the cutoff. Cool. Zia now cornered. Can they find the pick here? Zia able to dash through, and they do not find. Ooh, 8, yes. Mark
shit.
Gets it in. Down the outside as well. Yureshi up against Fried Chicken in the 1v1. Yureshi forced to back off this time. Fried Chicken close the difference. The flicker comes in.
Chicken is gapping Yureshi, bro.
Leading by 1,200, 5-4.
Yeah, it's a 1-for-1 trade onto the top side, but ISO's able to kind of go
Chicken is
victorious
gapping
on that trade. He's
Yureshi.
been surviving in the Blazing Duets. Also
A77 weren't all
some of the
bad.
members. So right now, A77 I feel like is in quite a good position. They are
Actually
down
doing good.
in
Yes,
gold.
they're
but
actually doing
I do
good.
think that ISO has had a great lane so far early on.
I mean,
They almost
it's a 1400
they almost
for
beat
GG. We saw the same
they
thing from
almost
Area
beat
77 last time.
GG a while ago,
And
actually.
to be honest, this is the first time I feel like Gaimin Gladiators has a chance to lose a
Mm.
game in a while. No one's does come down. A lot of damage onto JQT. Zia able to stack up.
That Minotaur
Area
so
77 might
tanky, bro.
definitely be slightly below GG right now. Like GG has the advantage, but I don't think we've seen GG tested this hard in a while in North America. Concealed play coming from JQT, looking for the implosion, looking for the play. Best player.
Look at that, look at that, the taunt.
Come on to Shark. JQT working the angle.
Oh
Yureshi
my
with a
god,
bit of a
then
spider.
bonk.
JQT goes down, but Shark falls
Taunt
as
and then
well.
bonk.
The damage coming in from Fried Chicken. He does get the knockout strike onto Yureshi, though. Yureshi in a little bit of trouble. JQT trying to come in and help out. Bahoon able to delay the advance. Area 77 now on the run. Tarzan taking a little bit of damage.
Oh my shit.
The Appraiser's Wrath comes down. The
Chicken push it.
Up, and Tarzan taking out a mega kill for Fried Chicken.
Chicken push it.
It's all about the winning combination right now. The knockup is just a little bit too much to handle. Last game, they had the Guinevere, the Vexana for the 2-man knockup, and this time around, they got the Minotaur, the Fredrin to have that CC knockup chain paired up with Fried Chicken here. And on the bot side,
Yureshi is mad, bro.
I don't think Yureshi's
Mad.
able to take care of that business.
The confidence in Fried Chicken right now, man. Half a bar of health. And
Chicken is ignoring Yureshi.
Collapse onto the boss side. Fried Chicken.
Oh my god.
Get away! No, the flicker. Yureshi
thought
able to
this
pick
guy
it up. Up in the
thought
top
this
side, a
guy
little bit
gonna
action as
escape.
well, but nothing too major. But they finally get a kill on a Fried Chicken, which is crucial because he was sitting at 4-0-2.
Yeah, that's a 400 gold shutdown for the side of A77, able to get that kill back into their favor. It's a 1k difference, so both teams still have the. It's still anyone's game at this point, and I really want to take a look at ISO's item, right? Zia, of course, on the Brody has the ability to go into that early and mid game, but once it gets to the late game, if both marksmen have the same exact gold, the side of A77 is going to have a slight advantage because Cloud just has that mobility, has that late game shred. But if Zia is going to be the one that's up in gold, it's going to be hard for ISO to look for any engagement because he's going to get 2-shot by Zia here.
ISO's poking Fredrin.
And now he's going to be a little bit.
And then when Fredrin come to him,
of Fried Chicken, are they going
EBMI.
to bait for him here? Fried Chicken knows he smells something in the water, decides to not to advance. He waits until the rest of his team has vision on Area 77. This feels like a lord right here. Like everyone's grouping up just for a 7-minute turtle right now. This is a game that we're watching. Best player still.
Oh shit, digit.
Oh. Tarzan able to get it, but the Eternal Guardian comes down. And now Yureshi's in trouble. JQT taken out. Yureshi in between 4 members, takes enough damage.
Yureshi's dead.
Finds the kill. Area 77 take the turtle, but at what cost?
Yeah, it seems like A77 is unable to get a lot of these fights going into their favor, especially when both teams are grouped up as members of five.
Bro, you didn't watch MPLPH yesterday.
Fried Chicken on to ISO with the Blazing
Oh,
Duet
shit.
still taken out mid-gun.
Paquito.
Yeah, that's a huge shutdown for the side of Gaimin Gladiators.
White
Able to
Pac.
take care of
White
ISO, giving him
Paquito.
his first death on the board. And it just, again, once it seems like A77, they cannot fight these group 5 versus 5. Shark is just
Oh,
doing
shit.
too many knockups, and the side of Gaimin Gladiators just have so much CC available to single out individuals.
Okay, Fried Chicken goes down. Zia takes the tower, though. Did Yureshi fall as well in the boss side? No. So Area 77 finds something, but still, GG is this methodical, man. They got the scalpel out. They're cutting away piece from Area 77 right now. Tower by tower until they're down to nothing but bones.
Yeah, and you can see a small lead still for the side of Gaimin Gladiators. The people of Area 77 are grouped up onto the top side. but the
Yesterday,
reinforcements are
it was Echo versus Omega.
off the angle.
That's the one
I feel
that
like
I
A77,
streamed.
they're definitely going to try to get this
And
tower here.
Curtis is not playing.
So able to BMI away. The tower does
Curtis
fall,
didn't
though.
play,
So that's a
H2
plus
didn't
for Area
play.
77.
No.
Yeah, that's definitely a plus there. They do need all the advantages that they could get. Once again, it seems like the engagement's coming through. Both teams disengaging. Now, let's talk about some of the strategies that A77 could use to kind of get back onto this game. I think Hoon is going to be a very big player for them to try and shut down and maybe try to keep Chicken at bay, right? Putting a little bit pressure onto his lane because he's going quite aggressive in pretty much majority of these clears.
Fried Chicken having a little bit of trouble on the bot side. The 2v1, Fried Chicken unable to compete there, but they're going to start rushing this Lord because they know Tarzan Cutie is far away. Area 77 may not be able to make it in time. No, they will not. Hoon,
see that?
for the team.
They burst the Lord.
Just gonna hang out and wait now.
Yeah, it's going to be a free objective for the side of GG's. The Lord is going to be marching down onto the bottom side, the far lane here, right? The side of GG. I do think the strategy for them is to group up on mid and try to go.
Bro,
I
uploaded the video.
Side, but Guap's here.
Regarding BTK versus A77. You can check it if you want.
Enough damage here, and A77
you can check that
looking for
if you want.
defense going up against the first Lord of the game.
All right, Lord coming soon down the bottom lane. I don't think GG's going to be able to finish things just yet. Area 77 does have the shred with ISO. It's not like ISO's fallen too far behind in gold or anything. He's 1-1-1. Hasn't taken too many deaths. Possibilities are still there. And GG still has to be careful about the way they engage. One big set from JQT could be game-changing.
And GG's looking for the engagement here. The Lord is marching down on the bot side. I do know that the Purifies are available for the side of A77, but I just don't know if the Purify is going to be enough to deal with this constant CC coming out from the side of GG. Best player looking to go in for a little bit. A lot of damage just by himself, chunking out to the members of A77.
With the Lilia, though, you have great siege defense, man. You lay down all the glooms, you're able to burst down the Lord. That paired up with ISO.
Oh shit!
Should be okay.
They should not. They should not compress.
Just cut away tower by tower.
Yeah, and a 3K gold lead. 11 minutes in. GG is still trying.
What do you mean end it?
It does feel like A77 has
end it. Area 77.
But I think they might.
If Area 77 end it, they're gonna be a game 3.
And Jay is on the backside, so if GG does get collapsed here, it might smell trouble, but it seems like ISO, they're opting to go for a split push strategy, and I think this is great. The side of Gaimin Gladiators, they're really trying to force
Redrin is so tanky.
Of just syncing all the ultimates up together. ISO takes another tower onto the bot side, but the trade from GG is just a little bit too good.
Yeah, he's gonna have to be careful though. If White Chicken is on to him, he needs to get back quickly. Should be okay. Chicken just has to defend, take out the minions. So well played. If ISO can keep doing that, kind of dancing around, it's very similar to what we saw from Zia last game, alleviating the pressure, you know, kind of bleeding out the wound a little bit, letting the swelling go down. And that's what Area 77 needs to do. They got to try to hang out. They're in it for the long haul at this point. Still, gold lead not too far ahead, man. 4K is very comebackable for any team, especially teams at this caliber.
Yeah, and we're inching into this kind of late game, right? But it seems like they're going in.
ISO with the Blazing Duet on the backside. Zia taking a whole lot of damage.
Oh shit!
What
the fuck? Zia!
Shark picks up
Zia's so good.
Zia finds Urashi. Tarzan next to be on the chopping block. Terrified.
Oh my god.
Taken out.
GG.
It's nothing but Mark Cutie and J Cutie. Looking too good right now. Fried Chicken trying to close the distance. Black Shoes pops, so it brings Mark Cutie.
For sure, bro. For sure.
Welcome to home. Gaimin Gladiators is here. Knock, knock, FBI. They're kicking down the door right now. A terrified J Cutie falls. Mark Cutie gonna be next.
Oh,
Fried
GG.
Chicken, Fly Keto, Puck Keto, take them to their graves. GG takes.
They end it fast.
And
They end it fast, bro.
To take this game in a more close fashion, right? It's a 14-minute match, a dominating performance again from Gaimin Gladiators. I was about to say, the longer this game goes, seems like A77
yes,
does
JQT really made A77 a title competing team.
Really game damage
Of,
from Brody.
yes, for
Just
sure,
a
for
little
sure.
bit too much to handle. And again, Gaimin Gladiators, they have
Because,
the IQ decision to go.
JQT has
topside,
some mindset
multiple members of
that
A77 and
MPLPH player has.
dominating in
So
that team fight. KD
He's
15, 7, and 31
He's doing it
overall scoreboard.
to
Lots of
A77
assists
as well.
coming out from Gaming Gladiators, and I would just say the
Carrying that
rotations they
mindset.
had, especially when it came down to that mid and late game, the strategy was just too much for the side of game for the A70s, the aliens.
Did you see the Lord dance?
Gaimin Gladiators
Lord
come to
dance.
play. I mean, it's
really good.
Was close. GG though definitely controlled and shows who's boss and why they're here. Average damage is completely unloading compared to Area 77, and even the gold per minute just completely collecting throughout the laning phase. And we saw the difference between Area 77 and GG. When Area 77 was winning in game number 1, GG, I mean, was almost keeping the gold tied throughout the whole game. Compared it to GG, when they were escaping with the win, they immediately turned it into a 3-4K gold lead.
Yeah, and it's extremely.
I woke up early because of this
Take the
NACT.
2-0
Oh shit,
victory
I'm
of
so
A77,
sleepy.
which has won in their last
I'm
series.
so tired.
So now A77 is going to be pushed onto that 4th position.
My bad. It was a little prank for day one.
Hey.
I'm just trying to be like you, boy. What are those games, man? Absolutely crazy. That first game had me on my seat. I thought so for sure that Area 77 was going to be able to make it happen, make that close. But man, what a beautiful comeback by GG.
Yeah, definitely an insane comeback in game number 1, and then game number 2 they just completely roll over Area 77. But still, we saw a lot from Area 77 there. We saw a lot of possibilities, and who knows?
So,
by playoffs,
so much potential
anything
for
could change.
A77.
Yeah, and you know, it's quite interesting that the GG strategy, again, for me, it's quite visible here. They like to stack a lot of the CCs, and a lot of the times the knockups are unable to be negated by the tough ones. Or the knockups are still going to happen, and when they chain those CCs with that Vexana, with the Fredrin, along with
Do you
the
think
knockups of
BDK
Paquito or the stun coming out
BDK
from Ruby,
can
it's a strategy
can
set in
compete
stone. Without
right
ultimates,
now
they're
with
still
those two?
locking down members for Zia to free
Based
him,
on
for
what you
who
see?
to deal the
Based on what
damage.
you
And
saw?
I would say Gaming Gladiators played an absolutely masterpiece today.
Absolutely. GG, they showcased, you know, just exactly who they are. But at the same time, Area 77, although they did take, you know, a 0-2 loss in games, they definitely still managed to say, hey, you know, we're here, we're alive, we're pushing, and you know what? Don't count us out of anything.
Most definitely, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be jumping into the MVP now with a few replays. For me personally, I mean, it's the whole series. Fried Chicken had a great series. Wondering exactly who it's going to end up being, though, UA.
It's a good guess, but it's going to be Shark, right? The most valuable player from the last season, in my perspective here, coming once again. He had a great game on the Minotaur. It was able to counter out a lot of the matchups, and I think it's quite smart, especially when the side of A77 decides to pick up the Claude first, right? The knock-up coming out to pretty much deflect the Blazing Duet coming out from the Claude is proven to be very, very effective. And this time around, Shark pulling up with the MVP.
Do you think it's not
roamer
working?
That gets the spotlight. I
Nicolette
do
as
like
a
that
mid
myself
laner.
as I'm a Roam player, and shout out to Shark, man.
Honestly, if any Rome was ever going to get it, it was definitely going to be Shark. You're talking about debatably one of the best players in all of North America, not only based on ability, but when you look at people who've effectively made it, you know, to further stages, he's definitely him. So with that being said, the star of the show, final game, MVP, Shark, I wouldn't have it any other way. Some of those sets, money.
Money.
Chef's
Speaking
kiss.
of money, let's take a quick look at the last 2 big team fights of that last series.
Yeah, I mean, Gaming Gladiators always coming through with a show on the boat. The implosion coming through on the backside, but the Gaming Gladiators had something else that they could deal with, singling out and pretty much splitting the whole entire ace.
77 back line dealers, right? They pretty much punished the ability that Jay and Yurishi had to go onto the backside and just use that to their advantage. Like, this is the topside fight that we were talking about. Zia right here did not get singled out.
The fuck?
Unfortunately, the rotation
Holding
of the game
gun
was
again.
too much
For A77 to handle in these team fights.
That gameplay was absolutely beautiful. Right where at least
Yeah.
me personally, I thought our shark was going to drop. The entire team just showed up and sealed the deal. They just made it happen. Just such precision coming from the side.
If JQT is available,
Gorgeous.
why Zane didn't
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely
Didn't
gorgeous.
get
Overall,
JQT,
GG shows
right?
why they are the fan favorite right now. And this is what this
As-
is the big difference
as
that
their,
a lot of teams is when you're
why Zane
losing,
didn't get
can you
JQT as
come
their
back?
tank,
If you're
as
behind
their
on
roamer?
games, can you still secure? And that's
Right?
what they did in game 1. And then can you jump into game 2 with that same momentum and just smash through? And that's exactly what GG did. Area 77 still unable to kind of break that barrier. Now I think the matchup I'm really ready for is Area 77 versus DA.
Like the stream, guys.
In the future. I think that's
And guys, by the way,
standstill and who's gonna end up
this
falling
coming
in
Friday,
between
I'm gonna
number one, 'cause this is
I'm gonna
definitely
stream
one of the most-
MPLPH,
it's a
so
huge
please
toss-up
support
this
me
season between
and my YouTube.
And
Support
it's
my
almost
YouTube channel,
like
guys.
Tex just forgot
Please.
about the Kings
And
the
follow
King.
my
I'm not sure if you want to have a
Facebook page as well.
conversation with that, but you know the
Come on,
second and the
RQ,
third
King of
place
Kings?
are.
RQ?
No, I mean, I honestly feel like the side of A77, they've shown a very strong showing, right? Maybe that might be the gaming.
Maybe that's the
Gladiators'
reason.
match to go
The
to that
same
point
no
where the inhibitors
JQT
are
personally.
down, but there's still plenty
Maybe,
of
maybe.
teams out
That's
there.
why,
Devious had a great match today.
he didn't
Same
get
thing
J.
with BTK,
But-
able to get the victories themselves. So there's still a lot on the table. This is
I'm sure
only
that,
day 2, Zeke, and there's so much excitement
already
left
played
for
with-
us to show. So
with
many great
JQT
teams going up head to
in a
head
ranked game,
in
right?
this
So-
royal battle.
Absolutely, and well said. Well, with that being said,
So-
why don't you take us through the day's recap?
There's a possibility that
first game, Devious
he can
Activities
get
able
Jay
to take the
if
series
he
2-1
maybe
against Fiends.
if he
Quite a
approach Jay.
surprising thing because Fiends actually was able to get the upset and a reverse sweep in that series. BTK 2-0 against LEGACi. They did fall short a little bit, and Trex take us to the last few games.
I mean, BloodHounds get the win. I mean, no, BloodHounds get the loss. Sorry. NightHorde able to secure it 2-0. And then even though it was a very exciting game 1, GG cleans things up very well with the 2-0 sweep against Area 77.
Well said, well said. Now, by Zeke's law, Trex, you happen to be
Let's
the
go.
guy who's got the most guesses right. So, why
So
don't you take us to the
sleepy.
standings?
I mean, Gaimin Gladiators secure their #1 spot with 6 points. After that, Devious Activity with 5. And here's the big kicker, right? Fiends holding the third place spot.
Like the stream, guys. And by the way, guys, the
Difference, and
membership
that's what
is
me and you were talking about
also
all day today, drilling
open.
our
You
ears
can
out
join
with
if
it.
you want.
After that, closely behind, Area 77.
If you wanna
BloodHounds,
support
BTK
Coach
all
Conejo.
tied up, and LEGACi and NightHorde
Hello, Sakura-chan.
sitting at the bottom of the standings.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, right? This is still only day 2.
What
of
do you mean?
CT. Anything
A77
could happen.
almost beat
Standings
GG.
are what is happening right now, but not
I think
every
they
team
have
has played
potential.
against every team. We still have to see how the Fiends go up against the Aliens, how they do against the BloodThirstyKings, and
They have
also
potential,
Gaimin
bro.
Gladiators. So it's a tough bracket for them to kind of push through. But Fiends has definitely shown a strong showing, marking them up.
If
onto
Tars,
that third
yes,
place, and
potential to be number
completely
2.
well deserved, in my
But they
opinion.
almost beat GG. So
Well said,
there's a
well
lot
said
of time,
again.
you know.
You know, and at this
Um,
point, it's safe to say that whether you're GG,
If-
Gaimin
if
Gladiators,
Tarzan
or the BloodHounds,
didn't,
there's still a whole lot of tournament
throw
left
it
for
or
us.
threw it
So,
a while ago.
a whole lot of room for teams
Because
to move
he's
up and
targeting
down within the
carry
regions,
instead
and
of pushing the tower.
every single time we'll find ourselves one day closer to the grand finals. So, with that being said, I think we're about ready to close. Any ending thoughts?
Well, whether
Like the
it's
stream,
with a head
guys.
full of hair or UA, it's
And-
okay, because life will be good next week.
Yeah, and
Maybe.
hopefully we get a lot of these games coming through. It's been quite exciting for the day 2 series. I cannot wait for next week's action. But guys, honestly, it's been such a wonderful day. Once again, Zeke, shout outs to you for coming onto the cast. It's been such a pleasure for us to sit here and hang out with you.
All right. Well, with that being said, thanks everybody for coming out, and we hope you guys have a good one.
Good night, Seattle.
Yes, sir.